What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Warriors Abyss full characters, all the characters lined up, ranked together from worst to best. This time I got a more scientific, methodical type of rankings instead of my kind of vague rankings that I had last time for my Traversal 1 runs. This time we did Traversal 5 for every single character, and I would say about 98% of the characters were around level 30 or 35 while doing these rankings. A couple characters like Liu Bei and Ayane were either characters I haven't played or I played like Liu Bei a lot, so he kind of already had those boosted stats a little bit, but my rankings aren't going to be really taking into any account of power, because power for all the characters I feel can be built relatively well, and you can build any character to be very strong for a run depending on how you build them, what's their level, all that good stuff. So instead I created 5 categories to rank all these characters on. We have AoE, which is the ability for characters to clear out a crowd. Do they have things that are built for that? Are they good at it? Followed by their boss abilities. So this is rankings based on how well can characters do damage to bosses in an efficient way depending on their kit. Right after that we have the kit rating. So this is the overall move set of the character, Muso, charge attacks, hypers, all of that, and how I felt overall the character did during their runs. Followed by the character's abilities. Every character has a transcendence abilities now, and each character is ranked based on what they were given, how viable they were, how easy it was to get them, things of that nature. We'll talk about it as we go through each one. And then the final one is the safety of the character. How easy is it to use the character without feeling like you have to focus or push recovery, survival? Are you constantly under pressure to the point where it's not fun to play? Or can you kind of make your way through the runs without having to worry about anything? Those are the 5 categories we're going to be rating these characters on. Each character will be placed in a tier from F to S, but they all have these rankings to make sure that they are where they need to be. And the final thing I have noted for their stats for their ratings will be the time it took for me to complete their Traversal 5 run. So if they have the exact same score, this will come into play in order to break that tie. With that being said, we have 119 characters to go through here. I have a feeling that as soon as this video drops that the new update for Warriors Abyss will come out, so we'll have to do those characters a little bit later. But for now, we've got these 119. We got a lot to go through, and let's start off with the bottom with number 119. So starting at the bottom, we have the worst character from Warriors Abyss, a 4 out of 10 rating for this character. It's going to be Mr. Huanggai. Huanggai, so any character that I died with during the run, unless it was like blatantly my fault and I wasn't paying attention, something that was my user error, versus feeling like I couldn't actually like escape or some weird movement caused me to die, it really hurts the character's safety. Huanggai has the lowest safety rating out of all the characters. He is tied with a few other people, which we'll get to in a little bit, but he has a 1 out of 10 because he is just crazy bad. I didn't understand what was going on. I was getting popcorned around like a bug, and he feels like he's the most vulnerable character in the game. His abilities, which I gave him a 7 out of 10, are not too bad. The problem is that it's built for him to be hit. Now in the game, I feel like when you go through your runs, you want to avoid being hit. But when Huanggai does get hit, he gets a defense and an attack boost, which is great. But it felt like it wasn't really doing anything, and I ended up dying with him. There was a point during my second run where I skipped a portal to recruit another officer just so I can heal, because I did not feel safe at all with Huanggai. Nearly died to Guma in the end as well, and he's overall just not a great character. Right after that, we have another character from the Dynasty Warriors universe. 4.3 out of 10 rating for this character. That's going to be the fledgling Phoenix Mr. Peng Tong. Now Peng Tong coming in with another whopping 1 out of 10 safety. I actually died twice with this character. He is the stagnation king. You're going to hear that phrase a lot throughout this because characters that have a lot of stagnation are very dangerous to play with. I ended up getting killed before the Magadori boss because of that. And it seems like pushing Muso charge is extremely important with him, so you can try and keep yourself safe. My second notes after I died again was, you know, bro is made out of paper. He gets killed so easily. He's absolutely trash. I actually have to play survival with him versus going for damage or karma embers like I normally do with the others. So during my runs here, if there's karma embers, I would choose that over everything else, and also transcend them because most of the characters also get extra emblems, which helps the run in general, makes everything stronger. So anything I could do to farm karma embers, I would, but I couldn't do it with Peng Tong because he was so bad. He also has a 1 in the boss rating because he is a trash boss attacker. His C5 EX attack is semi-viable with the breath, but it's still not good, like at all. His attacks are just not built for 1v1 damage, and he is definitely one of the worst boss attackers in the game. and that's why he's down here towards the bottom for me. Right after that, we got another character here from the Dynasty Warriors universe. 5.2 out of 10 rating for this character. Kind of even stats across the board here. Nothing too crazily bad about them. Just nothing crazily good to get them out of the bottom of the tier. And that's going to be Mr. Jung-ha. Now, Jung-ha is an interesting character. Again, average is scores across the board here. He's got 5s and 4s. His abilities are fine. He's got the Grace buff, which is great. He's got the HP regeneration when he levels up, which is great for Traversal 6 because that level takes that away, so that's good. And then the XP and the assembled charge abilities are like, getting the 1,000 hits in for a charge on the assemble seems And then, you have the XP thing, which is great. It's just not something needed within a run. But everything else is just kind of average. He's not very safe. The interruptibility for him is extremely high. He gets clipped really easily. And for him, it just felt like having a high cooldown evasion was a must. His kit wasn't that great. I thought his EX attacks would be better, but they're not really good at all. His C3 EX is just decent, but it takes a minute to wind up, which again leads him to being easily interruptible. Jung-ha was not a fun experience playing with him in Warriors Abyss. Moving on to the next character here, number 116, jumping into the Samurai Warriors universe. 5.6 out of 10 for the ladies' man himself, Mr. Magoichi Saika. So Magoichi Saika has he's got some good stuff here. AoE is great. His Hyper C6 is great. Muso is great. C5 is great if you can get there. C4 is good too if you can get there. And he's got some good AoE. Kit's okay. Nothing crazy to rely on. Where we're struggling here with the character is definitely the safety. His C2 and C3 are too long. They're again, easily interruptible early on. His C5, same thing. His normal string seems a little long as well, to the point where it's hard to get to the C3 because I want to use the C3 for his run. It's the most comfortable one. But he's just terrible. I was struggling with him before Magadori. I only survived Magadori, and the only reason I survived it is because I had the painting of Kanan, because I was just dying with this character. 2 out of 10 safety. I had to use peach trees during his run. He was constantly in danger. Traversal 5 after the Transcendence is not a hard run. It's not. But some of these characters were difficult to use, and that's why they're here towards the bottom. Right after that, we've got a character from the Kingdom of, well, I guess other. It's the exact same rating as Magoichi here. We've got Mr. Changong coming in with a 5.6 rating as well, and he was okay. I mean, he's a stationary fighter, which is great against bosses, but the attacks are kind of so I gave him a 7.5 on the boss abilities. The assemble duration plus 50% is really, really good. Like, that's his best ability, but the rest of them is kind of like, I understand it because he's so stationary that the Muso charge is great for keeping yourself safe, but it is a bit excessive in my opinion, so he only got a 7.5 out of me. 3 out of 10 for safety. I also picked up the painting of Kanan during his run because I just felt so unsafe with him. He's very stationary. His attacks leave him so vulnerable. He's a tough character to get through. And he doesn't have the greatest kit either. Calling upon things is not really beneficial because he stands still when he does it, making it very dangerous to get to his EX attacks. He was a tough character to get through. One of the worst from Warriors Abyss, indeed. Alright, second to the last character in the F tier. We've got a 5.7 rating out of 10 for this character. That's going to be the strategist Lu Su. And Lu Su, AoE is the best part of the character. He's got pretty decent AoE built into his kit. His abilities are okay. His cohesion, I also look for cohesion within the abilities. It just seems really low. So he has the Tears of Blood acquired by 100%, which you can use to spend it at the King's Cauldron if you want to do that. That's, it's really good, but it doesn't connect with anything. It's just kind of there to be used if you want to use it. And there's no guaranteeing that King's Cauldron appears until the end, where they add it right before Guma, which by that point you'll have like 50,000, which will be pretty much, it's just a waste at that point. It feels like a wasted ability. His other abilities are just but the main problem with the character is the safety. I died in the phases before Magadori. Again, he's a very stagnant character, and I had to pivot my build to evasion cooldown because he needs to be able to move, or else he's just super unsafe. The second run through with him, I focused on solely surviving because after dying with him the first time, pushing health regeneration, HP, defensive buffs over any offense. Because this character, Lu Su was scaring me. He was scaring me with this run. Then our final character into the F tier is going to be the fat man himself. Hey, F for fat. It's going to be Mr. Dong Zhuo. Now with this character, I died twice. Let's jump to the bad first. His safety is a 1 out of 10. I don't remember if it was my first or my second run, but according to my notes here, I got a level boss mission. So you get the mission where you have to kill one of the bosses, and I tried to run up the clock because I was just feeling so unsafe with him. I just didn't feel like trying to kill the boss. I was running around and eventually got nipped by somebody and killed, and it was just not a fun time. His stagnation with the bombs is absolutely horrendous. You gotta focus speed and evasion. I believe in my second run through, I would get wrecked by the Lu Bu boss. He was just really, really bad. Terrible boss attacker as well. He's got some pretty strong abilities with the extra barrier damage, and he gets an attack buff per interrupted attacks, which will pretty much always be activated. And his Tears of Blood attack and the boost go well together for up to 150% attack boost, which is really, really good. So unlike Lu Su, which he didn't have the other one, Dong Zhuo has both of the abilities which play off of each other, which is great. But in terms of the actual character, in terms of with attacking and stuff, he's just not that fun. Moving into the D tier, we have the bottom of the D tier up first. Bringing shame to his father, we have the son of the god of war, Mr. Guan Ping. Getting an overall 6.1 out of 10 for me. Now his numbers aren't too bad. He's got the lowest in the boss and the kit ratings. He just doesn't have a very favorable kit. He's got good AoE, but he's very lumbering and stagnant as well. His attacks before getting skill emblem level 8 is horrendous. And I thought his EX attacks might make it a little bit better, but it didn't. His Muso is good. His C2 and C3 are so bad. C4 and C5 for EX attacks are fine. C6 is good, but you can't direct the wind if facing a certain way, which kind of sucks, making his kit overall terrible in my opinion. But he has some pretty good abilities. The Muso charge is the only thing that's a little I think the Muso charge for abilities is decent. If it's cohesive with another ability, I don't mind it. But because you can get Muso charge pretty easily with the wisdom build, if you get to like 6 to 8 wisdom, you're gonna be fine with your Muso charge. It's not one of the ones I like to see on a character. It's one of the ones that kind of go to waste. But the Slay element being applied to normal attacks is great. The attack buff for Torchbearer and attack increase buff for interrupting attacks, which again will always be active except against 1v1ing bosses. Overall, I think he got some pretty good abilities for the game, but everything else is a little lacking. Next up at number 111, 6.2 rating out of 10 for this character from Samurai Warriors. We've got the thief himself, Mr. Gomon Ishikawa. Interesting character. He's got above average AoE. Muso is great, and he has great AoE moves as well. Where he struggles for sure is the boss and the safety of the character. His power helps a lot, but that could be said about a lot of characters, so it's not going to raise his number really at all for that rating. His C4 is great for bosses, but during like the damage phase, it feels like he's not doing a lot of, like he's not very efficient, right? His C3 is decent for bosses as well. He didn't feel too great during the damage phase for Mr. Gomon here. And then his safety, he's just terribly unsafe. I mean, without attack speed, you'll barely get higher charges off. You absolutely need attack speed with him. And most of his movements are very stagnant, like his C4, leading him to be quite unsafe to use throughout most of his things. His abilities, I gave him a 7.5. You know, I like the speed addition. The Tears of Blood cohesion is great, but the peach tree ones is like, it's fine, but it is a choice you have to make instead of, again, going for a character, going for a King's Cauldron where you can heal and get some more characters. It is quite the gamble to go with the peach tree instead of one of the other portals, and that's why Gomon's towards the bottom for me. Alright, next up coming in at number 110, we've got another character from the Kingdom of Wei, Mr. Shaho Yuan, with a 6.3 out of 10 rating. Overall, the character did decently well, except for his safety. His kit, it was good, but it was a little ineffective. Really bad C1. It's cool, but it just doesn't do much for those on the side behind you. C2 is the same thing. C3 is the same thing. It's just bad because he's shooting the bow and he's stationary. He's got too many stationary movements, which leads to him being super unsafe. I just felt like I was getting clipped like crazy. He doesn't feel safe at all. Bro's getting shredded and constantly bombarded, and he just doesn't feel strong enough to push off the waves. I nearly died to Guma with 1 HP left on him. Super unsafe, and he's just average with everything else. Right after that, with a 6.4 rating out of 10, and that's going to be Mr. Sasuke. Sasuke, he's got some good abilities. I love the speed plus 50%, that's great. Max speed is really great. You get the chance to negate damage, which is always nice. Attack buffs in Sonata and Shinobi is easy enough to gain, and the attack speed buff is really nice. Where he struggles for sure is the boss. He's just very terrible against bosses. His C5 is okay, but Muso and everything else is just so bad against him. A lot of crazy movement for him as well. That's why I gave him a 6.5 rating out of 10 as well, because during the Tamahami battle and the phases after that, he was getting pretty dangerous. I was getting nipped like crazy, and just, again, it feels like his movements was leading him into a lot of danger. Right after that, we got another character from the Kingdom of Wei, a 5 Elite General of Wei with the exact same rating as Sasuke. We got a 6.4 rating out of 10, and that's going to be Mr. Yue Jin. Worst part for the character is 100% the AOE, 5.5 rating out of 10 for him. Terrible AOE, failed several KO challenges because he didn't feel too impactful. He didn't feel impactful enough with his big moves in order to get the KO count. Even with his Muso, it just felt very, very lacking. His kit rating took a hit for that as well. I just didn't like his kit. His EX attacks make it a little bit better, but they're just very low impact in my opinion. I failed several KO challenges because it felt like I just couldn't do enough damage, and I had to rely on my Muso and assemble much more than I could any of his moves, which is not that great because during the assemble you want to have some decent moves in order to maximize the damage and the sweeping effects of the assemble. He just wasn't too great in that regard. Right after that, we get the last character with a 6.4 rating out of 10, and that's going to be the Little Conqueror himself, Mr. Sumsa. And he's got some pretty solid abilities. The Wu attack buff, the attack buff per phase cleared without being hit. It's cool, like those ones. Cooldown with shock is great. Bolt apply when below 90% health is great. I mean, all that stuff is really, really cool. Where he falls is definitely the safety. Both of his EX attacks are unsafe. I felt extremely unsafe with him. I had to use the 8-gate gold lock formation to heal when needed. I mean, his stagnation is among the worst for characters, and again, anytime I had to rely on a lot of healing for the character versus farming for the Karma Embers or trying to do as much damage as I could, it really hurt their safety, because that means I just can't play as offensively as I want because I feel like it would lead to a lot of damage for the character. Next character stepping up with a 6.5 rating out of 10. We've got the wife of Hideyoshi Toyotomi, Miss Nene. Now, I got a lot written down for Nene, but we're going to try to keep it short and sweet. First off, her ability. She's got the perfect abilities to build the build needed for her. The other more abilities are canceled by her beads and her rerolls. That's a very good start for this character. You can really control the build that you want for her, but her kit and her safety, she is really not having a good time. I ended up dying with Nene at some point. She's got weird hitches and pauses between some of her combos, or something feeling like she doesn't hit hard enough to interrupt attacks. Even with vigor, it just led to death on her run. I got hit for 130 damage trying to run another direction, and I just got mopped. Like, it was just a weird feeling. A lot of moments of stagnation, like I mentioned earlier, but I was just getting smacked up easily. Some of her combos, like her C2 and her 3, are just too long that it makes it hard to get to the summon before getting hit. Like, she has just a lot of movement within those charges. Her Hyper C6 and her movements are great, but I ended up dying from the spastic movement, and I just got bombarded to death. With her, I really had to focus. Now, coming in with the 6.6 rating out of 10 for this character. A lot of the numbers are starting to even out now. We've got Mr. Lu Meng. Highest thing about the character was his abilities. Just a 7.5 out of 10. He's got solid abilities, and I can't be mad or hate him, but they're overall just average. Like, the boss damage and levels is fine. Health upgrade is good. Assemble charge is fine too, good to use, but it's just ant. Like, he's got ant abilities. Same thing with his other kind of things. Just add an average kit. You know, even the EX attacks don't really feel like it's making that much of an impact. Muso is good, C6 isn't bad, but again, it's just an average kind of feeling. Safety is the same way. The grabs in his kit are fun, but very dangerous. C5 EX has vulnerabilities as well. And he's just not too safe, but he's also not the worst. Just a nice solid average here. Following suit, we got another character with a 6.6 rating out of 10, but I cleared the run a little faster than I did with Lu Meng, and that's going to be Mr. Kiyomasa Kato. Similar numbers to Lu Meng as well. You know, he's just got average ratings across the board. Decent boss fighter, decent abilities. You know, he's got the attack buff when he interrupts attacks. He's, you know, which is again good for the phases because you're going to get that activated most of the time. But again, getting hit and increasing the attack speed is just not something, because I want to avoid getting hit. It's a nice buff to have when it happens, but it's not the one I want to push for. He's got one of the Peach abilities as well, which is not great. And then he also has the attack buff towards level boss enemies, which is fine, but I honestly didn't even really notice it. Like, I didn't notice a difference in strength for him against the level bosses. And everything else is pretty average for Kiyomasa. Next up, coming in at number 103, getting closer to the top 100 here, we've got Miss Shang Chunhua. Now she's got some decent abilities and her AoE is pretty solid as well. Muso's good. Both of her EX attacks are great and the stringy effects that she has is pretty decent as well. She's got some decent abilities. She's got the Peach HP buff, which is fine, but it's not super reliable. She got the health recovery rate, which is decent, but we don't really know how reliable it is unless we're stacking HP and recovery and all that. HP regen per 50 KOs is good. It's going to come in clutch for the later boss fights. And of course for Traversal 6 when HP regeneration is limited. But where she struggles is definitely the safety. Again, similar problem to people I've already talked about. She's just very stagnant. Her EX attacks leaves her very stagnant. She gets hit. Her normal attacks feel like they don't really stop enemies encroaching. And you get, again, hit really easily. You got to rely on your Sembo and your Muso with her to survive, and she's overall just a nice solid average. Right after that, we've got a 6.7 rating out of 10 for this character as well, which is going to be Hideyoshi Toyotomi. And he's got overall average numbers, the lowest one being the safety. It's just something about him that took me down into the red a few times, and it wasn't until like the late game with full build that I felt really safe with the character. He just seemed to not do too well against like under pressure and with the bosses in the level. He just didn't feel strong enough to remain safe in those moments. He's got decent abilities. He's a decent boss fighter. You know, C5 is probably the most reliable. C4 is okay, and then you got your C2 and C3, which is just, you know, it's alright. It's not too bad. AoE doesn't feel too impactful for him. He's just an overall average for the run that I had with him. Right after Hideyoshi, we got, I believe, his rival, right? We got Ieyasu Tokugawa, one of the 3 unifiers. I believe Hideyoshi's one as well. Regardless, he outbeats his competitor here with the exact same score as his competitor, but he did have a faster clear time, and that's what made him a little bit above Hideyoshi. Overall, his ratings here are all pretty similar. He's got some decent abilities. I like the attack buff. I like the increase of the max HP for 5 levels. That's a really good one to have. And then everything else was just kind of below average. His AoE is decent. You know, he's got some linear beam attacks. His Muso seems a little tiny. He's got a decent C3 for the bosses. Just was lacking in efficiency. He's got, you know, he's okay in terms of safety. A lot of stagnation through his lumbering movement, making him easy to clip. You know, I can see why he has so many assembled charge abilities, because you kind of want to spam it as much as you can due to his kit not being too great. And then finally coming in at number 100, jumping into a 6.8 out of 10. I think this character has the longest clear time for me, but he didn't feel as bad as some of the other characters. Coming in number 100, we have Yoshitsugu Otani. His kit and AoE seems to be pretty decent for the character. His kit seems to be more focused on AoE. Most of his charges and Muso have really good AoE. He's got a decent kit with good moves overall. I like his C3, Hyper C3 and 4. The ones with the lasers, great for assemble clearing. His C4 is also great for AoE as well. He got some really good stuff within his kit. Where he falls is everywhere else. His abilities, none of his abilities are great in my opinion. They're all subpar abilities that are all conditional and not in a good way. Getting a boost for leveling up is just, it's only for 20 seconds, which is not too great. You get the, again, the attack boost from getting hit, which is fine, but we don't want to get hit. And then we have the cooldown shortening for when your health is below a certain amount, which is fine. But again, I don't want to be below 50% with this character. That is not a good place to be. And his only decent one is the last one with the attack speed pretty much being activated during your phases. And then safety for this character, getting clipped with him, very easy. I think in his combos he has like an awkward pausing kind of a moment that leads to him getting hit pretty hard. And halfway through his run I ended up shifting from attack power to survival, and I really had to focus to not die with him, which is why it probably took me over an hour to clear with him. He's the only character I believe that has over a 1 hour clear time, so not too fun there. Right after that, coming at number 99, we have the perennial protector from Dynasty Warriors. It's going to be Mr. Dion Wei, getting a 6.8 out of 10. Now he usually lets Cao feel safe, but not me, because he only gets a 6 out of 10. He's got some really sticking stagnation again with his movements. He gets nipped a ton, and it's fine because it works towards his abilities being activated, which is great, but it's also, again, just nerve-wracking. It's tough to have characters who have abilities that get activated from being hit, because it's almost like an indication that they're just not that great. His kit honestly wasn't too bad. I gave him an 8 out of 10. His C5 has decent AX attacks. Muso is good. The C1 buff is great. I think it's an attack boost. I'm not sure exactly what it does. I don't remember what it does in Dynasty Warriors 8. His other moves are okay. He's got a decent C6. I gave him an 8. I think he had a solid kit overall. It's just his safety and his boss, man. I mean, I just couldn't really find a charge attack to use that like felt great against the bosses. Like, I think the C5 is the one, but it doesn't feel like too great. He just felt pretty weak against bosses, so that's all I had for him. And with that being said, that's the last member that we have for the D tier here. Let's go ahead and jump into the bottom of the C tier, starting off with number 98, which is going to be Miss Yue Ying. So Yue Ying got a solid 7 out of 10 for me, and where she struggles is definitely her safety. Now she has some pretty good abilities. 9.5 out of 10 for me. Crystal Sap rerolls plus 15 is amazing, and she gets a beat to start, which again, similar to Nene, is great for building what you want in your character. And since she has that affinity to Shu, pushing towards the Shu and having that build kind of flexibility is really great. Attack and summoning cooldown per Shu is again another good cohesion. Really good abilities all around for the character. And then she also got a 9 for me in the boss because she's great against bosses. Her C2 and C5 EX are great pinpoint damage for boss, for damaging. Love the efficiency on those moves. But everything else is terrible. She is a very unsafe character. 4 out of 10, super stagnant, and it feels like she gets nipped again very easily. C5 EX stagnation, C2's got stagnation, and I just had to run heals for her eventually. Anytime I had to shift from farming to heals, it was not a fun time. Next up, coming at number 97, we got a member of the Oda clan, which is going to be Mr. Ranmaru Mori, getting some even overall like ratings here. 7 out of 10 overall, but just a faster clear time than Miss Yue Ying. The lowest thing I have for this character is a 6 out of 10 boss rating. His C4 is great for bosses, but against Tamahami, I lost some confidence because I wasn't hitting as hard, and it could be the build. He just didn't feel too great against the later bosses. I don't know what was going on with him. Everything else is pretty average. Even his safety, I didn't feel too bad with him. He feels decently safe during his normal string trying to get to charges. He gets nipped kind of easily, but overall, he had an average safety. Now, he wasn't as bad as any other character that I played so far, so I gave him a 7.5 out of 10 because of his, he's got decent attacks. He's got decent attacks. Next up, right after that, we have another character from Samurai Warriors, Mr. Kotaro Fuma, and he's an interesting character. His abilities are kind of good, but he's just, again, failing where most characters have failed so far, and that's going to be the safety. You need to rely on the Muso and the barrier formations because I wanted to go the Slay formation, which is I believe it's the Demon Eye, which increases your attack speed, your attack, your defense, and I think one other thing. It's a really, really good formation. It's one of my favorite ones to use to do damage, but I did not feel comfortable enough to do so. A lot of his charges left him stationary, and the movement ones aren't too significant either. And then his AoE is the best part of the character besides his abilities. His C5 and Hyper C6 are really AoE focused along with his Muso, which are great. But the other charges didn't really have AoE. They didn't feel like they were really meant for AoE. And then everything else is pretty average. Next up, right after Kotaro, we got a 7.1 rating out of 10 for this character. That's going to be Toyohisa Shimazu coming in, getting a solid rating on his AoE and his kit. He's got some decent moves for his AoE. C5 is great, C3 is pretty good. The others is just a little I like that his Muso, when you activate it, you can still move around with it. Those are the best Musos for this game. So overall, he had a pretty solid kit. Where he fails and struggles is the safety and the bosses. Most of his attacks are pretty spastic, and then they don't seem to be built for like direct damage. And he doesn't feel too great trying to pinpoint that boss damage during the damage phase for the bosses. And then with his safeness, he's got an average feeling of safeness. He's got some moments where you can get clipped due to his stationary charges. And in the end, I almost nearly died to Guma with this character. But, it wasn't too bad making my way towards the end with him. Next up, right after that, with a 7.2 overall rating out of 10, we have Takatora Todo stepping up to the plate with an 8 out of 10 boss rating. I liked his C5 for bosses. His C4 is pretty good as well, but the C5 for Takatora is really all you needed for bosses, and he felt pretty efficient with it. Everything else, you're looking at some average scores here. His average kit, nothing crazy. His C5 is the best. Everything else is kind of below average for the character. His abilities are fine as well. He's got the Crystal Saps increase, which is great. He's got the freeze bonus, but the other two are conditional. And then late game, the top two might become obsolete depending on how well you're doing. You might not even be able to use 3 out of 4 of his abilities, which is crazy. So Takatora coming here with an average score. He's okay. He's just an okay character. Right after him, we got a big boy from Wei that's going to be Mr. Shu Chu coming in. Highest rating for him is definitely his abilities. He got pretty decent abilities. Yeah, the might and the strength attack buffs are great. And he's got the 50% boost on strength emblems, which is great for that. A lot of cohesion there. And then he's also got max health increase for every 5 levels, which is really good. He's got some decent abilities. Where he struggles is definitely his kit. His kit isn't bad. It's just I'm nearly failing the KO missions because, again, similar to Yue Jin, I'm not doing enough damage all around. He's not safe enough to run through phases easily. His kit is average, but its effectiveness is terrible. And then his safetyness, give him a 6.5 out of 10. You get clipped a lot. His C5 is very dangerous. His swings are kind of slow, so it's tough to get some charges, making you get hit a lot. So the increase again in HP helps a ton with feeling safe, as he can tank a little bit. Next up with a 7.3 overall rating out of 10, same as Mr. Shu Chu, but because I had a better clear time, this character is above him. That's going to be Mr. Sakon Shima. Now he's got some pretty even ratings across the board here. Solid kid, decent abilities, average safeness. I like his C3, his C4, C5, really good. I actually had his AoE a little bit higher, but I dropped down with him after failing the 400 KO missions because his AoE was just not super impactful. And overall, he just felt pretty average to me. Next up, after Sakon, we got another character from the Samurai Warriors universe with the exact same score, but this character had a better clear time. And that's going to be Miss Naotora E, and she was okay. You know, I liked her abilities, like the synergies, cohesion of the characters were decent with each other. The Torchbearer plus the Bolt build is pretty good. But again, the 1K abilities are cool, but it's just not the best ones to have, because by the time you get to 1K hits, most of the time you're either towards the end of the phase, which again doesn't really help out much, but maybe it'll help out more in Traversal 6. We will find out. But for this one, it was all right. Anyway, the other ratings for Naotora here were decent. You know, her safety, she started out great, gave her 7. She started out really good for her safety, but as it got tougher and more aggressive, I felt less safe, especially after Tamahami. It was not a fun time. Her kit, I gave her a 7. She just seemed average. She's got like some decent fast attacks and everything, which are great for summons, but overall her damage output, even with the build, was seeming a little low. Right after that, we have another 7.3 out of 10 here. A lot of characters getting this rating here. We're in the C category, makes sense. This is where most characters should fall. We've got Mr. Jiashu coming in, solid AoE. He's got an 8.5 out of 10. It's, you know, his kit's pretty focused on AoE. I like that you can aim the Muso. His C2 is great for AoE. C4 is not too bad. And then C5 and C6 are great as well. And then he's got average ratings across the board here. He's got an average moveset. His abilities are, you know, safeness. He just feels decent. Like, you know, his C2 is great, but his other moves just don't feel as safe to pull off. He's easily interruptible. He's stationary. But I'll give him this. He didn't feel as unsafe as I thought he would, but he still has lots of moments of vulnerability. Just an average kind of character here, coming in at number 90. Breaking into the top 90, the 80s now, we have another character from Samurai Warriors getting the exact same rating, which is going to be Miss Oichi. Oichi getting a perfect 10 out of 10 rating on abilities because she has some of the best abilities to compensate for her terrible kit. She doesn't have the worst kit rating, but it's just one of the more below average ones. She gets an extra life, which is great. She gets to trigger Memories of the Dead more frequently, which allows you to get more buffs, potentially, you know, beads, cooldowns. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff within those Memories of Dead. And then her bottom two are just bonuses. She's got the Muso charge. She's got the replenishment to 50% health, which is great if you are at red going into the next phase. So she's got some pretty good comfort abilities, but where she does struggle is her, you know, her fighting ability. Her kit, I mean, her Muso saved her. Muso was really great, but overall the kit is very weak, very small, not too reliable, and relying on her, you know, Muso and Assemble charge is a definite must for her. Right after that, we've got the notorious evil strategist himself with the exact same rating as the last few. We've got Mr. Fa Zheng. And I gave him a 9 on the boss and the abilities. His C3 passive damage assist on bosses is great. Like, it's a great damage on bosses, and it just wrecks them. Best part of the character for sure. And his abilities are pretty good as well. He gets the attack per shoe. He's got the charge attack buff for clearing phases, which is great. It's like a free 100% attack buff. And then he also gets an attack buff when he gets hit, which is cool, but it's not super optimal. And he's got some Muso charge as well, which is really decent. Where he struggles is definitely his safety and kit. He's a very unsafe character. I had to push speed because of his stagnation. The stagnation on his C3 and C6 is just not that great. And he's got also like a weird delay after his Muso as well. He's a very dangerous character. You definitely want to invest into speed with him. And he's kind of a bad kit as well. His C4 and C6 are terrible. His C4 is short and effective. C6 is very long. And during the grab portion, you can actually still get hit, which is terrible. Muso is great. C2 is fine, but dangerous since you're standing in one place. And again, going back to his C3, it is definitely the best one for passive damage throughout Fate. Alright, right after that, we've got Miss Zenji coming in with another 7.3 out of 10 rating. 8.5 out of 10 for the AoE. Muso, C6, C5, and C1 is great for AoE. Some of her other moves don't feel too impactful, but she still has some really strong AoE. Her other ratings are pretty average all around. Good abilities overall, like she's got average, decent abilities. Charm plus 50% is really good because Rally is really good. The double Muso charge abilities is, you know, it's good to have. so you can rely on her Muso, but it is a bit of an overkill. I do like her Muso a lot, very, very good for the game. And her safeness is, you know, just similar, like I've said to others, stagnation in her C1 and C3, mixed with her low impact like moves, just makes her not too safe to play at times. But she's just average. She's an average character. Right after Zenji, we've got the chosen one himself, Mr. Zhonghui, coming in as the last 7.3 out of 10 that we have. And overall, he's got some pretty average ratings. Solid abilities, 8 out of 10 that weirdly work together. I don't know how effective they'd be at Traversal 6, but for this run, it wasn't too bad. If you push Muso Charge with him and do everything to avoid getting hit, you can control your build easier, potentially, and get an attack buff as well. But it is a risk, and we'll see how well that will affect him in Traversal 6. Gave him an 8 as boss fighting as well. He's a solid boss fighter. C3 is really good, and that's all you really need for damage phases. His charges are short enough to pull out summons, and he's a solid boss fighter. He's a solid boss fighter all around, and which is why he's here towards the middle of the list. Alright, moving into the 7.4s out of 10. Nearly an hour to complete the run with this character, but it doesn't change his ratings, which is going to be Ujiyasu Hojo coming in for me. And starting off with his abilities, he's got a 9.5 out of 10. Solid abilities. He's very strong, very easy to build up. Wind slaps so hard with him. I'm pretty sure Wind is the strongest ability in the game, because I feel like every character that I can build the Wind build with, they're just monsters when it comes to their strength. I don't know what it is. I think Wind is the #1 element in the game for sure. And then for his AoE and kit, those are his lowest categories here. He's just, you know, he only really has the Muso for the big AoE. Everything else is really Like C4 is okay, hyper attacks are terrible. C5 is okay for AoE. I feel like from an AoE perspective, I couldn't kill people fast enough with his kit. And then his kit as well, 6 out of 10, not impressed. Muso is definitely the best part, but all of his charge attacks are Next up after Ujiyasu, another 7.4 out of 10 rating, and that's going to be for Shingen Takeda. And his best part of the character is the boss and the abilities. His C2 is great. He's got a great combo and has range to hit bosses who are vulnerable. The other chargers don't really play well, but his C2 is really all you need for him. He got a solid 8 out of 10 for abilities. His build potential can pretty much be whatever you want. If you do struggle with him, you lose the first ability, which does hurt, but the others are pretty good. Getting the Cherry Blossom armor is an absolute must, which reduces your evasion distance, which isn't great, but the defensive buff is really good. And then everything else, we're looking at an average rating for Shingen. Moving on to the next character here, moving into the 7.5. We got a lot of 7.5s here to cover. Starting at the bottom of the 7.5s, we've got the old man himself, Mr. Huang Zhong. And Huang Zhong I actually ended up dying with on Traversal 5, but he is a absolute monster when it comes to fighting bosses. Giving him a 9.5. He does shred because he stands still, which is easy to rip off combos to do damage, and the efficiency of his kit is really well complemented to doing damage to bosses. However, his safety is a 5 out of 10 because he stands still to attack. He's very vulnerable. He ends up dying because he's just so bad. So you absolutely need to keep moving or shoot fast enough to keep people off of you. So either you rush to skill or rush to speed, probably speed first and then go skill for the attack speed. So you're not standing same place for too long and you can still get off your summons. Everything else is pretty decent for the character. Right after Huang Zhong, we got one of the 2 Qiao sisters coming in. That's going to be Miss Da Qiao. And she's a great character for AoE. She's got a 9 out of 10 for me personally. Solid AoE. Kit is definitely built for AoE. The Muso is great. C4, C5, C6 is solid. C1 and C3 aren't super tailored for AoE, but the others absolutely make up for it. Very good. Abilities are 8 out of 10. I would have given her a 10 if her build potential wasn't so mashed up. She's got the Grace, she's got the Wool, she's got the Shock. It's a lot of combo. You're going to have to really commit to one of them and not get the full benefits of the other ones. There is a lot going on there, and you do have to commit to a specific build with Miss Da Qiao. Her safetiness is a 6 out of 10. She's okay. Her charges really leave her vulnerable. Her C6 is great, but it's super vulnerable. Same thing with the C5. Also, like I said with some of the other characters, it just felt like even when you have Vigor to interrupt the attacks of characters, it feels like it doesn't work. She's just not the safest character at all. And just shy of the top 80, we've got one of the main characters from the Spirit of Sonata gang, Mr. Nobuyuki Sanada. Well, I guess he's not. It's the brother. Anyway, Nobuyuki's coming in here. 9 out of 10 AoE as well for him. His kit is definitely heavy AoE based. All of his charges, his hypers, his Muso, they all have AoE. It's overall pretty good. Everything else is pretty average. Struggles in boss fights, I would say. His C4 is alright for bosses, but he just has kind of like janky movement, not leading to easy pinpoint damage for him. He's got a decent kit. C4 is great. Muso is good. but he doesn't have anything too stand outish. He's got like an average kind of a moveset. Abilities aren't too bad. Defensive buff is good for getting swamped, but not too great. Muso is fine. The others are decent as well. But just again, average abilities, just nothing crazy. Then moving into the next character here, this character, they had the exact same rating and the exact same time as Nobuyuki. I guess put him above due to alphabeticalness. They're pretty much even in this point because they had the exact same clear time, which is crazy. It's going to be the short man himself, Mr. Masamune Date, coming in. The AoE and the abilities are the best part of the character. Solid AoE, he's got a great kit for it. Abilities are great as well. The wind attribute to attacks under 90 HP is a decent one. Not something, again, I want to strive to be. I don't want to strive to like be under 90%, but it's nice to have that. The other three are great. And then again, the wind attribute being included in 3 out of the 4 abilities is also really great. Great cohesion with his abilities. And where he struggles is the boss and the safety. He's just got some really vulnerable moments throughout his kit. Getting up to C4 or C5 is pretty tough sometimes due to his stagnation, and I seem to get nipped pretty easily through a lot of his spastic movements. Right after Masamune, we got a character from the Kingdom of Shu. 7.5 out of 10 here. We got a few more to go through, and that's going to be Miss Jingsai. She's actually, surprisingly, one of the first characters that we've done that she's one of the safest characters. She's a tank, which makes her really, really safe. Like, she can take damage. Her moves are all right. They're not the safest, but the tankiness for her compensates for stagnation. But this tankiness is why I gave her a 6 out of 10. Now, the wind build might be offsetting a lot of these abilities, but looking at just the abilities by themselves, they are a little subpar. You don't have an attack buff, no attack speed buff, nothing offensive or, that can help with your build. You get the strength emblem, which by 50%, which is fine, but the strength emblem is not the one that I want to max out all the way unless I'm really struggling and I need the extra health. But when I saw that her abilities were built to be a tank, I made her rating really low. But the wind build seemed to really balance it out. But because I'm not really taking that into consideration, I'm going to leave it at a 6 for her. Solid AoE, decent kit. She's got a nice, decent average for this game. Next up, we got another 7.5 out of 10. This is actually the last character I played with for my rankings. We have Mr. Yoshimoto Imagawa. And he's an interesting character. His abilities are really, really good. He's got the HP regen after 1,000 hits, which, it's going to happen. Whether it's late in the phase or not, that's great to have. 60% buff towards barriers is great as well. He's got the charm plus 50% as well. Getting that rally, really, really good. And he's got a moderate charge on the assemble charge, which is really good. Most of them are like slightly charges, but he's got the moderate one, which is pretty good. Where he falls flat is pretty much everywhere else. He's kind of average. His kit is C5 is fun. Muso is great. The other charges aren't too great. Feels not too impactful. Again, he's a tough character to use, just not the most impactful. I was getting clipped with him pretty easily, especially during his charge attacks. I like his C5, but he's kind of in the same spot. It's hard to get it off at times, which doesn't feel safe, which means I can't get the summon. But Yoshimoto's, he's okay. He was an okay character to play through. Next up, another 7.5 out of 10. Again, we had a lot of 7.5s for this list here. We got the vengeful mistress herself, Miss Wang Yi. And the best part of the character is her boss and kit. And, they're all kind of similar. The boss, C6 is good for boss damage, and she feels very pointed with her attack. She's got the Amei piercers. They seem to be, the assassination type weapons, so she's pretty good at the boss stuff. Solid kit as well, nothing too crazy. The Muso is definitely the best part. Her EX attacks are okay. C2 and C4 are similar. You jump up, you slam down. Muso definitely carries her kit for sure. She got some decent abilities. The freeze build for extra attack and assemble charge. Attack buff with the 100%. Getting the attack buff as well. A lot of good things for her. And then her safety, I just gave her a 6. She's decently safe. At least she started that way. And then it started to get a little dangerous towards the levels with bosses on them. She's just not super impactful enough to feel safe with those bosses chasing you down. It was just not a fun time with her during some of those phases. Right after Miss Wang Yi, right before the top 75, we've got the benevolent man himself, Mr. Jung Wei, coming in, and he actually disappointed me a ton. I actually ended up dying with him, and I gave him a 5 out of 10 on safety. He's just all right. Relying on the Muso charge makes it way easier, but the regular charges for his attacks, I found myself getting clipped so easily. I was inadvertently running into attacks due to his spastic nature, and I ended up dying to Tamahami. His abilities aren't too bad. They're a little strange, but they're good. Not crazy good, versus some of the other translated abilities. I'll give him an 8.5. He's very good at attacking the bosses. A C3 is I love the double-edged trident in Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires. It's one of my favorite moves. The C3 EX attack where he does like a little lightning blade is great. I wish they gave him the other Muso. The triangle one is not very good in this game. It's okay. It just seems a little small. I think the one where he charges forward and like attaches them to their blade would have done a lot more. Overall, he's just, he's decent. He's a decent character. And then following suit after Mr. Jung Wei, another character that I died with against Tamahami, getting the exact same safety rating as Jung Wei and overall rating. We've got Mr. Motonari Mori. He's the last 7.5 we have to go through. And he's got a great kit, but he's got a lot of stagnation where it gets really dangerous, especially early on. With skill, you can potentially get through the charges fast enough to get the summons and then evade, but it is dangerous. He does have some long charge attacks. Everything else is pretty average. His AoE, giving him a 9.5. He has a really, really good AoE. Every charge attack does tons of AoE. His hyper attacks, kind of similar to a lot of the other Samurai Warriors characters, aren't super like AoE built, but his hyper C6 is great. Most of the characters for Samurai Warriors had a great hyper C6, and he is part of that group. And then everything else is pretty average for Mr. Motonari. All right, jumping into the 7.6 out of 10 ratings. We are now clearly into the top 75. We're going to start off with Miss Kai here. She's got some pretty similar numbers across the board here. Just an average character all around. Abilities are decent. She's decently safe. Her kit is average. Her Muso is good. I wish you could actually move it before it deployed. I think you get stuck in a direction when you activate it. C5 is great. Hypers aren't too good, but that seems to be the theme with a lot of Samurai Warriors characters. Not a lot of the hypers, especially before the C6, was not very good for a lot of these characters. C4 is good. C3 has AoE. She's got moments of vulnerability that lead to easy damage intake, but overall, she's just average. She's just an average character. Next up after her, we got another strategist from the Dynasty Warriors series coming in with a 7.6 as well. That's going to be Mr. Lu Xun. The boss rating is the highest for him. His C3 EX attacks is great for bosses. Very pinpoint type of damage. C5 EX is good as well, but his movement with the shadow thing makes it difficult to stay on track at times. His C1 is great for distance shots. He's got a good kit for bosses, so 8.5 overall. Safety, that's where he's struggling. His movement gets him in trouble a lot. His C3 EX is very dangerous. C4 is okay, but a dangerous ending. A lot of stagnation at the end of his movements lead to him getting nipped pretty easily. And he was just an average character to play through. Right after that, with similar scores to the previous two and the exact same rating as the previous two, we have Masayuki Sanada coming in. And his highest ratings, I guess, are the abilities and the AoE. His Muso is a really big AoE. I like it. C4 is great as well. Could be argued on how effective it actually is. C5 is decent as well, but not worth it except for summoning. And again, the hypers for the character just isn't that great. Not even his Hyper C6. His Hyper C6 wasn't that great either. His abilities give him an 8 out of 10. The two bottom ones aren't too great. Pulling talent peeps doesn't seem too useful unless you're building a talent team, which could be good. I'm not too sure. Having all the formations unlocked right away is super OP. Muso Ensemble Charge is crazy, can almost stay in an infinite assemble state with his abilities here. Decent character for sure, and that's why he's going to land here towards like the middle-ish of the list. Moving on to the next character here, into the 7.7s out of 10 rating, still into the C tier. We have not left it just yet. Still about a dozen characters to go through before we hit the B tier. Coming in at number 71, we have Miss Guan Yinping, 9.5 overall for her AoE. She is built for AoE in the game. I mean, the C4 is great with the wind. C1 has AoE for the buff. I mean, C2 is really the only non-AoE. Muso is great. C3 and C5 is huge. She is an AoE monster in the game. 9.5 is great for her. But where she struggles is the safety. I started building towards her with like a Might Fire build, but she was so slow and stagnant that I had to switch to like a speed skill, because the speed, she just gets caught way too easily. Her C3 and C5 is great, but they're so long that getting caught is almost a certainty. Like, they're great. AoE is amazing, but you need that attack speed or you're going to get killed. Now moving into the top 70, the last number in the 70s, we've got the Honorable Brave Warrior / Archer from the Dynasty Warriors series. That's going to be Mr. Tai Shirtsa coming in. 9.5 out of 10 abilities. He's got great cohesive abilities. He's got the attack stack buff with the Brave Generals and the Jiangdong hero emblems. And he's got HP regen and Muso charge on projectile kills. I like the cohesion of his abilities here. A lot of good stuff here. Attack buffs, HP regen, a lot of good things with this character. Where he falls is definitely his kit. He's got a below average kit. It's always been the caveat of his twin rods. Like, I like some of his moves, but they feel like a little underwhelming. Just not too great. I mean, his C2 EX attack is alright. C5 is fun, but AoE seems a little small. Muso is good. C6 is bad. The stun is okay, but it's just not very average. And everything else kind of just falls in an average realm for Taishutsu. Right after Taishutsu, we're breaking into the 7.8s now, getting closer and closer to that B tier. And before we get there, we gotta talk about Mr. Guojia. Guojia has some decent scores. He's got a nice AoE. C2 and C3 are for building the balls, and the other charges are for tons of AoE. Destructive. His Muso is absolutely goated, and his kit, I gave him a 9 out of 10. His Muso is among the best to rely on. That's all you really need, and you're absolutely goated. It is actually the main reason that he has a 9 out of 10, because it's just tons of passive damage. If you go full wisdom, you can get 2 of them on the field. Very, very good. And because he gets a boost to his wisdom emblems, getting that double Muso, putting those 2 balls of whatever he puts out, the energy thing, is really, really good. He's got the Peach thing, and then he's got the cooldown summoning when you're at full HP, which is great to have. But the Peach one is always never a fun one to have, in my opinion. Next up at number 68, coming up to Guojia with the exact same rating, we have Mitsuhide Akechi, and I ended up dying with this character as well to the final version of Guma. 6.5 out of 10 rating for safety. I felt relatively safe with him. The slices felt fast enough to address incoming enemies, but relying on his kit is really not the safest. More reliant on his Musos and summons in his kit. His boss rating is the highest at a 9.5 out of 10. He's very, very solid with it. His C3 shreds and very pinpointed kit, which seems built for pinpoint damage, so he's great at the damage phases for the bosses. 8.5 abilities as well. Some solid abilities for Mr. Mitsuhide here. Let's go ahead and move on to the next character. Sticking on the 7.8 out of 10 here, the next character we're going to look at is Mr. Gan Ning. Now he's got some pretty even abilities across, even scores across the board, except for his abilities. He's got a perfect 10 out of 10 rating for me, and he's got 2 attack buffs for speed and slay, and he has a slay plus 50%, which is great, and the summoning cooldown on top of the slay build is also great. All of his abilities connect. He's got the attack buff, so building into speed and slay, there is no harm of going past the maximum for that because you get more attack off of that. And then building into slay gives you summoning cooldown. Just a great cohesive character with his abilities. Everything else is pretty average. His kit's average. His C1, C2, not very useful, except for the summoning. The C3 is fun. The EX attack is great, leaving you invincible for a moment. C4 is good but dangerous. C5 is really dangerous. C6 is decent, and the Muso is good, but it didn't feel super impactful even with his movement, and everything else is, again, around that average number. Next up, after Mr. Gan Ning, we have another character with a 7.8 out of 10 overall, and that's going to be Miss Sophie. Now, this is a character that I ended up dying with because of my own overzealousness. I got a little bit too comfortable trying to fight a level boss, not paying attention, and I tried to get her C6 off, and I died. So that's on me. However, it's not going to affect her safety rating too much. She still got a 6.5 out of 10 because she's kind of safe. But her stagnation is really bad. Like, she has a lot of stagnation that leads you to getting nipped like crazy out of nowhere. And especially with the level bosses, I feel like she's a harder character to play with and try to focus on that because of her stagnation. Especially with the aggressive enemies and like danger zones and stuff, she can get pretty tough. Her AoE and abilities are the best part of the character. C4 is very, very fun. A giant bomb is just so satisfying. Her charges also have AoE on it as well, but they're not as explosive. C5 is there, C6 is good. Muso is decent. Seems small for a linear one, but overall AoE is pretty destructive, and her abilities, she's got some pretty good ones. 9 out of 10 for a lot of good stuff there. And she's here at number 66 because of that. And the last character with a 7.8 rating out of 10 is going to be the daughter of Tadakatsu Honda, Miss Ina. I ended up dying with this character, but Ina has one of the fastest clear times out of all the characters. She is, I believe, like the 4th or 5th fastest, definitely top 5 fastest clear times out of this Traversal 5 run, but it did not help with her scores that much because, again, I am looking at things from an objective standpoint with the character. Starting off with her abilities, she's got solid abilities. Tokugawa attack buff is nice, boss level attack buff is decent, skill increased by 50% is very good, and the Muso charge is always good to have as well. The problem is that she has too many moments of stagnation leading to easy clipping, and I got whipped before Magadori. Like, I actually had to pay attention and try hard with her because she did not feel that safe. Her C5 is great for the buff, but it's very dangerous. AoE is 8.5. She's got a solid AoE. I wish the Muso was a little bit bigger. Her Hyper C6 is great. C5 is good too, but her Hyper C6 is what's carrying her really hard in this. Her boss fighting abilities and kit rating is relatively average, and overall she's not too bad of a character to play through in this game. Moving on to the 7.9 out of 10, we're starting off with Hanbei Takanaka, which I believe is the most improved character, because I'm pretty sure he was last for me in the last one. It almost took an hour to clear T5 with him, but he had some decent scores from me. First off, his abilities, giving him a 9.5 out of 10. Very strong abilities, super easy to build into. All of his abilities are really awesome. Just have to pay attention to vigor and strength as he's focused on the other emblem. His AoE is pretty decent, 9 out of 10. Muso is good, C4, C5, tailored more to AoE, very strong part of his kit, but everything else falls a little bit average for him. He's not the safest. Playing T5 with him felt okay, and I know that T6 is going to be a bit of a challenge. I felt pretty decent with him this time around. Next up at number 63, another 7.9 out of 10. We've got Mr. Nanman himself, Mong Huo, AoE, a 9.5 out of 10. He's definitely built for AoE. His C1 is crazy. Muso is great. Most of his charges do significant AoE damage, 9.5 for sure. Where he falls, definitely his safety. He's okay. He's got moments of weak, like, again, stagnation, where you get clipped really easily. Struggles with the bosses in the levels. The pressure is a lot for him. I almost died a few times because of that. Everything else is pretty decent. 8 out of 10 on the abilities, 8 out of 10 kid, decently solid kid, nothing too crazy. He's a decent character. Decent character. Next up after that, we've got another 7.9 out of 10, which is going to be Mr. Mitsunari Ishida coming in. And he's got pretty similar numbers across the board here. His highest numbers being in his AoE and his boss. Solid Muso. Most of his charges are pretty good. He's got solid boss damage as well in terms of efficiency. His C3 is great for bosses. C5 as well during the stun phase. Solid kit overall. Nothing too OP. Just a solid character. He's a solid 7.9 here. And let's go ahead and move on to the next character. Next up we have Mr. Sun Chuan coming in with a 7.9 as well. 8.5 out of 10 on the abilities and a 9 as well on the AoE. With his flame buff, all of his attacks become AoE viable. So I believe when you run with him for a little bit, it activates his flame blade, or if you do one of his attacks, I believe it also activates it, and it like switches on and off. With it activated, his AoE is amazing. Without the buff, they're not that great. Muso is good. 8.5 out of 10 for his abilities. He's got the stacking effect with the woo. He's got the ability for woo people to show up, which gives him cooldown and an attack buff, which is great. It's going to be very easy to build a woo flame build with him. 6.5 rating out of 10 for his safety. Most of the issue comes from dangerous moves and stagnation. For example, like his C1 EX attack is fine. It feels a little weak, but also it keeps you still, which you can be easily hit with. And his other EX attacks on his C4, again, very fun, but because of the lengthy charge, running into projectiles or predetermined attacks is highly likely. Definitely not the safest character to play with. Now breaking into the top 60, we've got 2 more characters left at the 7.9 rating, and then we're jumping into the B tier. Second to last on the C tier is going to be Mr. Kanbei Kuroda. Now I did die with Kanbei on the Lubu boss because of the glass cannon build I was going for him. I think I died in like 2 shots. It was not fun. Giving him a 9 in AoE and abilities because he's got some great AoE. When he gets his buff up, all of his charges, same thing with Sun Chuan. He's got that great AoE buff. Muso is so good. His C4 with the buff during the assemble is really, I mean, it just clears out everybody around you. Very, very good AoE. But without that buff, he's not feeling too good. Abilities are pretty strong. Attack buff per wisdom and 70% increase to wisdom is great. And then the other 2 that he has are just bonuses on top of that. But again, 5.5 rating out of 10 for safety because early on he's just rough to play with. It gets dangerous trying to get to a C5 buff, and if you go the glass cannon route, mistakes will cost you half your health, and that's why I ended up dying with Lubu towards the end of his first run. And then the final character into the C tier, 7.9 out of 10. This character had the lowest clear time out of all the other 7.9s. That's going to be Miss No. Now her best ratings come from her abilities and her safety. She honestly felt pretty safe with most of her kit because she's fast enough to get summons off. Even without the skill path really being built, she's felt really, really fast. She does have moments of stagnation like a lot of the characters do. Her C4 has vulnerabilities through her movement. So she's got a nice 8.5. 9.5 for the abilities because she's got some really strong abilities. She's got the attack buff per slay, attack buff towards barriers, which is great, And she's got 3% HP regen on projectiles, which is crack. That's going to be great for Traversal 6. Hopefully, we'll see how it feels. But I assume that one will be a clutch ability to have, especially towards some of the later phases. With that being said, we're now going to jump into the B tier, starting off at the bottom here. We're more than halfway done with our list. We're going to start off with Miss Sun Shangjiang getting a solid 8 out of 10 rating. She got the highest one in her safety rating because she's really safe, especially when building into Wu Wind. You can kind of remain safe within an Assemble, Muso spam. There were moments that I got nipped, but I feel like I always had the Assembles and Musos, even early on. She was doing really good. Her abilities are not too bad as well. AoE is pretty decent. C1, C2, and even C4 is kind of weak, but everything else is really, really great. Muso is good. Her EX attacks are extremely good with AoE as well. And overall, she did decently well. She did decently well in this game. Next up, right after Miss Sun Shangjiang, we got another character who significantly improved, because I believe he was an F tier last time I played with him, but now he's jumping up to the B tier. That's going to be Takakage Kobayakawa. My god, he's got a mouthful of a name. Takakage Kobayakawa. Okay, so he's got a 9.5 rating on abilities and AoE. His whole kit plays into AoE. Muso is great. C4 is great. Hypers is good. Lots of good AoE. All charges really push into AoE. His C2 is probably the weakest, but it has some AoE. It's decent AoE in there. Abilities are 9.5 out of 10 as well. He's got the Assemble charge. He's got the Wisdom 50% boost, which is great. He's got the Summoning cooldown with the Wind build, and lots of great potential with his build. Very, very good character with his transcendent abilities. However, his boss and his safety rating is where he struggles. Terrible pinpoint damage. I mean, the C3 is probably the best choice for boss damage, but still not great. 6.5 out of 10 for the safety. He's just not very safe. He gets caught easily. Feels like I get stuck really easily. Tough to move around. And similar, like I talked about with some of the other characters, even with Vigor, his C2 still feels like it doesn't really interrupt. Some of his attacks feel kind of weak. Next up, coming in at number 56, we got one of the 5 Tiger Generals of Shu jumping in. It's going to be Mr. Ma Chao. Starting off with his abilities, a 9.5 out of 10. He's got the wind push going on. He's very strong. He's so easy to build into. Wind on him, monstrous power. The other abilities are but all of his wind ones are absolutely carrying him. The other ratings he has is 8.5 rating out of 10 for his kit. The kit's fun, but it feels like okay, like it's slightly above average for the game. That's why I gave him an 8.5. Muso is but then again, Ma Chao's later game Musos are kind of trash, so not much to pick from there. C3 is fun, C4 is good for waves, AoE splash damage, CO5 is great as well. A solid 8, and that's why he's here towards the middle of the list. Moving on to Miss Luling Shi with the exact same rating, landing herself in the B tier, getting a high rating on abilities, kit, and AoE. She's got decent AoE all around. Her EX attacks are pretty good. Her Muso is good. Her C5 is okay. C4 is decent as well. Overall solid in terms of AoE and kit. Her abilities are pretty solid as well. Attack buff for the Lubu Armory, and the attack buff towards barrier, and the attack speed buff after evading, which will again pretty much always be on, which are very, very good abilities. The only one that is kind of is the Peach one, because I mean it's good to have, but it's just not guaranteed to activate. Then right after Miss Luling Chi, beating her by only 1 second in clear time, we've got the Prince of Wei himself, Mr. Cao Pi, coming in, and he felt okay. Like, his abilities are great. 9.5 out of 10, Ice plus 50%, attack buff combined together is great. Assemble gauge charge per Wei, plus Wei appearing more is decent too. He's got some good cohesiveness going on here, which is very, very good. Everything else is like, you know, he's like decently safe. Like, he's got moments of stagnation with his EX attacks and some of his moves not being super effective. He gets clipped pretty easily. 7.5 is not too bad. AoE is decent. You know, he's got the C2 EX, he's got the C4, C3. C5 is great. Muso is great. I felt like he had pretty solid AoE all around, and then, you know, his moveset, he's just, you know, he felt pretty average. Felt pretty average in the game. Right after Mr. Cao Pi, jumping back into the Samurai Warriors universe, we've got one of the best boss fighters in the game. It's going to be Toshi Maeda. He got a perfect 10 out of 10 rating for me because he feels like a very strong boss fighter. First off, I was melting bosses. I mean, again, wind, I feel like is the #1 element in the game. 100%. And secondly, his short range kind of like sharp attacks makes him really, really effective against bosses. All of his charges are viable for bosses. I think you just need like the first 3 charges and you're good. Very, very destructive boss attacker. Where he falls short is his AoE. His Muso is like it's good. You can turn in and get everyone around you, but it seems small in AoE. His C5 is the best for AoE, but his kit didn't really seem to be AoE based. Moving into his kit, his 7 out of 10 for his kit. You know, it's fun. It's just not super impactful, and then getting, you know, a solid 8.5 out of 10 for his abilities and safetiness makes him a solid character. You know, he was decent in the game, not too bad. Next up, coming in at number 52, right before we hit the top 50, we've got a strategist from Wei popping in. That's going to be Mr. Shun Yu. And the best thing about this character is his kit and AoE. Pretty good AoE. He's got a very good Muso, and setting up the wands is really good. Same thing with the C5 and the C6. The C1 for the explosion, which I feel isn't as explosive as it was in Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires, is still really good. Very solid AoE for Mr. Shun Yu. He's got a very fun kit. Setting up the wands with the Muso, the C5 and the C6, and then using his lower Cs to create extra large areas to like activate. Super fun. It was actually a lot of fun to go through. Now his lower Cs aren't that great to set up the wands like by themselves. And then getting to the C5 and the C6 can be a bit tough, but it is a very fun kit. And then his safetiness, which actually surprised me. I was expecting a lower rating, but I actually didn't struggle too bad. And overall, he was a lot safer than I thought he was. Next up, coming in at number 51, we've got the, I believe it's Devil, right? That's what his name? Yoshihiro Shimazu coming in. And I actually ended up dying with this character because I actually didn't even notice I was hurting. He's got 3 9 out of 10 ratings, which is very, very good. AoE, kit, and abilities are very strong. He might have the best Muso in the game. It is definitely among the best for sure. His Muso is absolutely goated. C5 is good but dangerous. Hyper C6 is the same but dangerous. But it's, you know, good due to their movement. C4 is great. C2 is fun. Very good abilities as well. He's got the attack buff per Brave General and the attack buff against disoriented enemies and the HP regen per 50 KOs. His weakness is his safetiness. His start is really rough. I honestly, again, I didn't know I was taking damage with him. His stagnation is dangerous and he's really slow. So I think I was getting nipped without even realizing it. And then later on through, I think the run, I was realizing that he can get nipped pretty easily, and that's probably why he has a healing ability. Next up at number 50, we're into the top 50. This is the last character with an 8 out of 10 rating. Out of all the ones we just covered, he was the fastest one that I cleared with. He beat Yoshihiro by 7 seconds. That's going to be Mr. Shu Huang. He's got some pretty similar scores across the board here. Highest number is going to go to his abilities. The Peach ability, again, is it's just not a one that I'm going to be relying on because you just never know when you get a Peach. The other 3 are really solid. Attack buff, when HP is above 80 is great because that's what you want to aim for. You want to aim for having full health as much as you can. HP regen per 50 KO is really good, and the attack speed per evade is very, very good because that's always going to be pretty much activated. 8.5 out of 10 AoE. He's got some solid AoE. Muso seems a little bit smaller than what it was before. His EX attacks are good. C6 is good as well. Just an overall solid character from the game. Alright, breaking into the 8.1 out of 10, starting off with Mr. Zhu Shu, and he's got a pretty decent kit. 9 out of 10. Movement in his charges help you get out of danger. His Muso is great. EX attacks are good. His C1 is great when the bosses are yellow, so you can get that extra barrier damage on them. Very, very decent character. Pretty safe as well. Lots of movements. Charges are short, so you can get summons out. Decent character overall. Right after that, another character from the same kingdom of Shu. We've got Mr. Wei Yan coming in with an 8.1 out of 10 rating as well. His AoE being the one that carries him up here, as he has some pretty good AoE. His Muso is good. His EX attacks are really good. C3 and C4 aren't too bad. Very explosive AoE overall. His kit was overall solid, decent abilities as well. 3 of them are like conditional, which is fine. It's not the greatest. Like if all get activated at once, it could hit pretty hard, but there's no guarantee for that. And then you got the assembled charge on top of that, which is okay. And then honestly, his safetiness, I didn't really have too many issues with him. His spastic movement could potentially put you in danger along with his stagnation with his like C6. And you can get nipped while you're doing your normal string with him, but for the most part, he feels relatively decent in the game. Right after Wei Yan, another character with an 8.1 out of 10 rating is going to be Mr. Katsui Shibata. And his first 4 categories are decently rated. Where he struggles is the safeness, only getting a 6.5 out of 10. He definitely has a lot of stagnation with him. His C5 is really dangerous, same with the C4. Even though it is very fun, he is really, really slow out the gate. So speed and skill for him is very necessary or you will struggle. He's got some solid abilities. Attack and Muso charge with the Oda emblems. It's nice to have that. Again, that cohesion. The boosted attack towards shock enemies is really good. And the summoning cooldown for Brave Generals is great. His kit as well is pretty solid. I like the hyper attacks with him as well. It's very, very fun. His hyper C6 is fine. He's actually one of the few characters that I actually like their hyper attack. It was actually pretty fun to use. And his Muso is really good too. It's just stuck when you're like in a direction and you can't move it. Because when you activate it, I believe he gets stuck and you can no longer move his Muso. Right after that, we have a character with an 8.2 rating out of 10. And that's going to be Miss Ayane. And Ayane for me was a level 0 when I completed Traversal 5 with her, so OP. Solid AoE across the board. C6 is good, her EX attacks are great, and her kit was rated 8.5 as well. Very solid kit, really like her C6. Muso is really good as well. She does struggle a bit against bosses. I feel like her wind-ups, especially from her C1 to take advantage of when they're yellow, it takes a bit too long sometimes and they end up recovering, but she's, she's just like average. She's like an average boss fighter. And then her abilities are decent, 8 out of 10. She got some health regen. The bottom 2 that she has are decent. They're not like crazy good. And for the most part, she felt pretty good. I did this at level 0 with her, and I felt decently good with her. She's relatively easy to control. It's a solid character overall. Next up, another 8.2 out of 10. Coming at number 45, we have the Wall of Defense himself, Mr. Sao Ren. And starting off with his abilities, he got a 9 out of 10 for his abilities. They're really good. The only issue I have with him is the vulnerability one. So the ability to become invulnerable for 3 seconds, unless it stacks, which I don't think it does, but that one becomes a little obsolete when you get past a certain, like the strength emblems by certain, like he's gonna get that. I think that's like the 3rd one. If it does stack, that's great. I think I would actually raise his abilities a little higher. But since I don't know if it does stack and it just gets overridden by, when you get to, I think it's like 5 seconds, right? It goes 3, 5, 7. I'm pretty sure. It just seems like a wasted slot to have. The other abilities that he has are pretty good. He gets the attack and defense boost per way in the same ability, which is crazy. His safetiness, I gave him an 8.5 out of 10. His C3 and C6 has some stagnation to it, but it's nothing too crazy. And then again, with the defense buff, when he gets hit, it helps a ton. It's a 100% defense buff for 20 seconds, which is great. Overall, he was a pretty solid character. And then moving on to the next character, beating out Siren by like 20 seconds, we've got Mr. Nagamasa Azai coming in with an 8.2 rating out of 10. 9.5 out of 10 abilities for him. He's got some pretty good abilities. He's got the ice buff, he's got the attack buff for his eyes, he's got the attack speed buff for evading, and he gets the summoning cooldown for having the freeze. He's got some really good cohesive abilities, 9.5 for sure. Also giving him a 9 out of 10 for the boss abilities, the boss fighting. His C4 is great for bosses, and his C3 is good for hitting them when they're down. Not too shabby in terms of his pinpoint effective damage. And then his safetiness, giving him an 8 out of 10. Average safetiness, definitely moments of vulnerabilities, but his moderate attack speed along with the cooldown keeps you in a pretty safe state. But a lot of his attacks are directional, so getting hit from behind can be a concern. Right after Nagamasa, we got another character with an 8.2 rating out of 10. That's going to be Miss Gracia. She's got some pretty destructive, cohesive abilities. She got the Tears of Blood and the attack plus defensive buff, which is she's basically got rally for free, which is crazy. She's probably a character that I could easily build 5,000 attack power on. If I went full charm and her abilities, and depending on the treasure, like she is going to mow down people depending on how you build her. AoE's great, safeness is good. Where she falls flat is definitely her kit and the boss rating. She has a decent kit, like her C4, C5, and Musos are great. Hyper C6 is also pretty good as well. She's got a solid kit, but it's nothing too like crazy OP. And then her kit's not really built for like damages to boss. She's really reliant on the power from her build versus her actual kit to do like efficient damage to the boss. I don't know if that makes any sense, but anyway, moving on to the next character here. We got an 8.4 rating out of 10. Getting up to those higher and higher numbers here. Coming at number 42, we have Miss Jurong. And Jurong having similar numbers across the board here. Decent ability. She got the speed and the burn. The flame does so much damage. She can build easy. 2 of her abilities are a little but she's got some really good ones to compensate for the other ones. Her kit is decent. She just has really long combos. Her C2 is decent, but it's so long that the summoning is tough to get off sometimes. 8 out of 10 for the safetiness. She has moments where she doesn't feel too safe and moments where I got clipped at the end and couldn't like shred the bosses or waves fast enough. Some of her combos are very long, which makes her vulnerable. And she's got some pretty decent AoE as well. Right after that, just shy of the top 40, we got another 8.4 coming into play. And that's going to be Mr. Hanzo Hattori coming in. Getting some good numbers here, 9.5 AoE, 9 out of 10 for the boss thing. His ability with the shadows is really good. It enhances his AoE and enhances the boss thing, because if you can get the C4 on top of him and then do your thing, you can do a lot of easy damage there. Kit's a 9 out of 10. The shadow ability enhances his kit so well. His Hyper C6 is so good. Where he struggles is definitely his safety. Focusing on trying to get his shadows out is problematic because he's standing still, and I found myself early on getting hit a lot. It was a little scary at times. Right after that, we have Mr. Liu Bei himself starting off our top 40. And he's got a decent kit, 9 out of 10 rating, solid kit all around. Every move is viable. It's not the most destructive kit, but it's very solid. Muso is good. His abilities are an 8.5 out of 10. He's got the Crystal Saps +1, which is great. He gets to choose more. And then he gets the Shu attack buff, which is great. And the ability to get Shu characters to appear more, which is really good. Very good cohesion there. And if he's struggling below 40% HP, he will hop back up to 50%, which is really nice to have. Right after Liu Bei, sticking into the 8.4s out of 10, we've got Mr. Tiger of Jiangdong himself, Sun Jian. 9 out of 10 rating for his boss and his abilities rating. He feels very strong against bosses. His C3 is great. C5 is good too. C4 is viable as well, but his C3 is really all you need for bosses. Feels great. His abilities, he's got the attack buff per Wu and towards burnt enemies, which is great because he's very strong with the Wu Flame build, and he has the Wu characters activating Muso charge. Every time he gets a Wu character, he gets the attack buff and the Muso charge. That's the best type of abilities you want to have, where you're getting multiple things for a single recruit. That's amazing. And then everything else, he just felt decent with decent AoE, decent kit, and very decent safeness. Coming up after Sun Jian at number 38, beating him by about 30 seconds of clear time, improving a lot from the last tier list, because I'm pretty sure he was F tier. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was very low last time. We have Yuan Shao coming in. So his safety still remains 6 points. It's still not that great, but everything else is pretty solid. His abilities is a 9.5 out of 10. Yuan Shao has the rally, the free rally that Gracia had, but it's the better version. He gets 3% for each allied hero. The Assemble and the Muso charge ones are but the Tears of Blood one can be used to help with that ability, because you can pick up a bunch of people at cauldrons and really rack up the points. If you go full charm, you can get double whatever you have. It's just, he is monstrous. I originally had his abilities number lower, but I raised it after his full build with cooldown on his C2, and he was one of the few characters so far to one-shot all 4 end bosses in the first damage phase. It was insane. I nearly had 6,000 attack power with Yuan Shao. 9.5 rating on the boss as well. His C2 is great for damage, and then again, he's not very good with the safetiness. He has moments within his kit where he's very stationary. C2, for example, is great. It's so good. But if the arrows don't interrupt the enemies, you will absolutely get hit. He definitely was one of the best improved when it came to the Transcendence update. After Yuan Shao, we got another character with an 8.4 out of 10 rating with a nearly 2-minute different clear time. It's going to be Mr. Ling Tong coming in, and he's got similar numbers to Yuan Shao, 9.5 rating out of 10 for boss. He's got some super good boss damage. C3 for the absolute win. It's all you need. The C1 is great for range and hitting them when they're vulnerable. He's a great boss attacker. 9 out of 10 for his abilities, very solid. He's got the Jiangdong hero buff, which is a 108% boost at most. He's got the burn for cooldown and the explosions, which is really nice. And if you pick up the treasure where you can acquire Karma Embers per, I think, 100 KOs, you can easily activate his attack and defense buff. So yeah, overall solid character, and that's why he's here at number 37 for me. Moving into the next character at number 36. This character has a whopping 5-minute different clear time. This character currently holds the record for the fastest clear time out of every run I've played, and it's currently with Mr. Kenshin Uesugi, a 30-minute and 13-second clear time. Monstrous clear speed. He is very destructive. 9 out of 10 for his AoE, his boss, and his kit rating. He does really well in all aspects. Where he does struggle is his abilities. He's got the boost for summon heroes, which is amazing. The leveling up for the Muso and Assemble gauge thing is fine. I just don't think it's very useful, because what if you're already full and then you don't get the bonus, so it's not the best one to have. And then getting the momentary attack boost for every 100 enemies defeated is decent. It's good for the phases. It's not going to help much with the bosses, but it's not too bad. And then the safety thing, the only issue for him is speed, which can be corrected, but I found myself getting nipped sometimes, especially focusing on his buff with his C5. At the end with Guma, I was still feeling pretty slow with him, even with about, I think I had like 12 in the speed path, and he was still feeling relatively slow. Regardless, he's the last one in the 8.4, so go ahead and move on to the 8.5s out of 10. Coming in next at number 35, this character has a 10 out of 10 rating for their abilities. One of the guest characters, they always seem to make them really, really good. It's going to be Miss Yumiya. Yumiya gets a 10 out of 10 on her abilities. All her abilities relate to each other. Some crazy cohesiveness going on. The attack barrier damage is great too. Attack buff, disorient, explosion, and wind emblem plus 50%. She is absolutely cracked with her abilities. Where she falls is definitely her safetiness. She's got some average safetiness going on. Early on, she was hard to get used to because her normal strings into her C5 are a little weird. She's got a very interesting tempo to her, so it led to a bit of errors. Could be a skill issue on my part, but I felt she was a little unsafe at times. Her AoE and her boss damage is great. Like her C4 is great for bosses, C6 is great for AoE, Muso is okay, C5 EX attack is also okay. She's got a solid kit all around. Like all around, she's not too bad. 8.5 out of 10 for her. Let's go ahead and move on to the next character. All right, right after Miss Yumiya, we got another 8.5 out of 10 here from Motochika Chosokabe coming in. 9 out of 10 for his AoE and boss. He got some decent AoE. All of his charges seem to be AoE based. His hypers are okay. His Muso doesn't feel as strong, but he's got some really good AoE within his charge attacks. His C4 is destructively good for boss attacks. Great for vulnerabilities with his C2. He got an 8.5 out of 10 for his abilities. He got some really interesting abilities. He gets a buff off of being killed, which is crazy. So you start with 1+ life, so you get an instant 80% attack boost, and then you can just get a painting for another one, while his other attacks are decent as well. Getting the scale plus 50% are very good, and he has some solid abilities overall. Moving into number 33. Jumping back into the Dynasty Warriors universe, an 8.5 out of 10 for Mr. Zhoutai. And his highest rating comes from the safety rating, 9.5 out of 10. Honestly, I felt quite safe with him. And when the Slay build gets full, you're getting those one-hit KOs really, really easily, which is adding to your faster attack speed, faster summons, and less time being stagnant. He felt like one of the safer late game characters to play with. Getting a 9 out of 10 for his abilities. And then he has solid AoE, solid kit, nothing too OP or crazy, but he's just a nice overall solid character coming in right before we hit the top 30. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the next character. Next character on the list at number 32, we got the monstrous Tarakatsu Honda coming in, getting a 10 out of 10 on AoE. Absolutely crazy AoE on all of his attacks and his Musos. Like his hyper attacks aren't super AoE, but the rest of his kit makes up for it. It is absolutely destructive. 9.5 out of 10 for his kit. The only bad thing for the character is his hyper attacks. Everything else is absolutely goated. He's got very big swings, massive AoE damage, super destructive. Muso is among the best in the game. He's one of the easiest and safest characters to use as well. 9 out of 10. He has moments of stagnation, but even in phases where the bosses come in to fight, I'm not really worried at all. He's got really good crowd control, really good AoE, very destructive. The only downside for the character is the boss and his abilities. He doesn't feel too great because he's got the spastic movement moving back and forth. His charges aren't really built for 1v1. He's built for massive AoE damage. That's where his strength lies, and that's why he's so high up on the list for me in the B tier. Right just before the top 30, we've got a character from the Dynasty Warriors series, and that's going to be Miss Diao Chan. Diao Chan getting a 9.5 on her abilities and a 9 out of 10 out of her AoE as well. She's got some pretty good abilities. She's very easy to build into. Her AoE is good as well. Most of her chargers and Muso is AoE focused, which is great. Some of it can lead to danger, but for the most part, she is very, very strong. Her boss rating is a 7.5 out of 10. Her kit is a little tough to aim. Like her C3 for bosses, she does more sporadically. The others are kind of wide AoEs that aren't too useful for her, but just an average kind of a feel for her. Safetiness, she's got a weird delay on some of her charges. Makes her vulnerable a little bit, but not too bad. Getting her a solid 8.5, and then overall landing that 8.6 overall to get her towards the top of the list for my list here. Moving on to the top 30, starting off with the character from the Samurai Warriors universe, we have Kanetsugu Naoe. I don't know how to say his last name. Anyway, he's here at number 30, and his AoE is 100% the best part of the character. 9.5 out of 10 destructive with his Muso. It's one of the best in the game, so destructive. His Hyper C6 is really good as well. C3 and C4 is monstrous. He is definitely AoE focused, and that's why he's got such a high rating for me. His caveat comes in with the safetiness, 7.5 out of 10. Some of his charges are pretty vulnerable. I felt like I was getting ping pong pretty easily with him. But his Muso, when you can use it, just clears out everything. And then everything else is pretty solid for him. He's got a decent kit. He's decent with the bosses. His abilities are decent as well. He's got the HP regen. He's got the bulk plus 50%. He's got some good stuff going on here for Kanetsugu. And that's why he's here towards the higher end of the tier list. Moving on to the next character, this is the last character with an 8.6 overall. Getting a 10 out of 10 rating on AoE, we have Miss Wang Yuanji coming in. She just honestly is a goated AoE character. Her Muso is among the best. Tons of AoE, and you can move around during the Muso. You can hit everyone in a 360-degree radius because of the movement, which is so good. Her C3 is goated, C4 is goated, C6 is good. She's got a beefy AoE kit, definitely a 10 out of 10. It is the strongest part of the character for sure, which is also why her kit is so high, 9 out of 10 as well. Only her C1 and C2 are like the only S. Everything else is great. Her EX attacks are good, her Muso is monstrous, C5 and C6 are out the wazoo. She's got some solid abilities with an 8.5, she's got the Assemble Gauge charge, summoning cooldown, she got the attack buff, and then she's got the Sin Spear ability, which I think is like, it's okay. It's just not something that's guaranteed with Sin Spears, just because you just never know when they're going to pop up. Pretty safe character overall, and she lands herself in the top 30 towards the higher end of the B tier. Next up at number 28, we got a character from the Samurai Warriors universe who I think did a lot better from the last tier list as well, and that's going to be Miss Okuni coming in with an 8.7 rating out of 10, and she's got some pretty solid numbers across the board. 10 out of 10 rating for her abilities. I think you're going to see a lot of characters from this point on with 10s out of 10s in different categories. She's got the extra sapling to choose from 4 different heroes instead of 3, which will help narrow in on a specific build you want to do. Attack buff per independent. She gets a summoning cooldown with the wind, extra attack towards barriers. She's got a very solid group of abilities here. Definitely 10 out of 10, at least I feel. All of her abilities are viable. And then getting a 9 out of 10 for her AoE and for her kit. Very solid kit. She's got a great C5. C4 is good. Muso is great. Very fun, solid kit. The worst part of the character is her safetiness, because she has really bad stagnation into her charge attacks, which leaves her very, very vulnerable. Right after that, we got another character, another lady from the Samurai Warriors universe following up Miss Okuni here, and that's going to be Miss Kunoichi. And Kunoichi gets some solid numbers across the board here. 9.5 on her abilities. She's got the HP heal, which is great. She got the attack and the Muso charge that are combining into each other from the Sanada, which is really good as well. And then she gets the speed emblems plus 50%, which is really good, because once you get to the max speed, you get the probability of negating damage, which is always really good to have in your back pocket. 9 out of 10 for AoE as well. She's got some great AoE. Her Hyper C4 is very good. Hyper C6 is good as well. Muso is great. C3 is fun. C2 feels much better than Nene's because they have similar movesets. And then she's just an overall solid character, bringing her up here at the number 27 spot. Let's go ahead and move on to the next character. Now, coming in at number 26, just shy of the top 25, we got an AoE monster with a 10 out of 10 rating. 8.7 overall. That's going to be Mr. Suma E. Suma E is an absolute AoE monster. Every attack he has is really good except for his C2. His C3 and C5 EX attacks is so strong. C4 and C6 are good too. Muso is absolutely destructive. Suma E, in my notes, he just blows things up. So he is a 10 out of 10 monster. 9.5 rating out of 10 for his kit. Super strong and fun kit. His EX attacks are monstrous. His C3 is so good. It's very, very strong. Muso is goated as well, that I already talked about. Overall, he's got a very, very good kit. The worst thing about the character is definitely his safetiness, though. I was getting nipped a ton, which is fine because it activated his cooldown ability. but he got stagnant a lot, and I was getting hit, especially early on, and his C1, C2, and C3 was not that great in helping him get out of those situations. Now, starting off our top 25, I don't know if this character actually did that great in the last one. I just know from the Dynasty Warriors games, especially the early games, he was not that great. So seeing him in the top 25 for this is surprising. That's going to be Mr. Zhang Jiao. Zhang Jiao also had a very fast clear time, around 35 minutes to clear a Traversal 5 run, which is pretty impressive for him. Getting a 10 out of 10 on his abilities because his build potential is very, very good. He gets 3 beads to start off with, and I can see it being useful in Traversal 6 when you get the right portal. Also, you get more Memories of the Dead, which allows you to get more bonuses and crystal beads to sharpen the build you want really easily. He gets Flame on his normal attacks by default, and health regeneration on projectile destruction. He's got very good abilities. He got updated pretty well. I'm pretty sure he didn't do too well in the first tier list that I did. He's got pretty strong AoE overall. Even the smaller AoE that he does feels pretty impactful. All of his charges have AoE. Muso is crazy good, making his kit overall pretty good as well. Decent boss fighter as well. The only thing about the character is that you can really get caught early, like easily, especially early on due to the lack of speed and the combo length, which is leaving you stagnant for a bit. His Muso and Assembler lines makes it easy, but getting clipped is likely with him, which is why he has a lower safety rating. Next up, coming at number 24, this character has 2 10 out of 10 ratings. However, because of that 5 out of 10 rating, it's only giving this character an 8.7 out of 10 rating, and he got a 6-second clear time better than Zhang Jiao, which puts him here at number 24, which is going to be Mr. Zhao Yun. So Zhao Yun getting a 10 out of 10. He's one of the first characters I played with for my Traversal 5 run. And he's a very strong boss killer. C3 is great for boss killing, but that's pretty much it. I mean, you don't need anything else. He's a monstrous boss fighter with the focus attacks on the C3. His abilities are very strong. He's got a very easy build with the shock and the shoe build, monstrous damage. The problem is that he does not feel safe at all. He's very slow to start. Even with his attack speed, he doesn't feel that great. I feel very vulnerable with him a lot. I somehow died twice with him, and I had to rely on my Muso and Assembler early on. He was just getting clipped like terribly. It might have been a skill issue on my part, but it felt like Zhao Yun was not that easy to rely on, especially the early phases before he got upgraded. Closing in on the top 20, we got the next character coming in at number 23, and the beginning of the A tier, the bottom of the A tier. This is the best of the best characters in my opinion, with an 8.9 overall rating for this character. It's going to be Miss Ginchio Tachibana coming in, and she is an absolute monster on the field of battle. 10 out of 10 for her abilities. Her bolt build is easy to exploit, and it does tons of damage. It's the easiest build for a character for attack power. The Musoge charge is just nice to have. Not like the best ability, but it's not enough to knock it down away from that 10 out of 10 rating. Very good abilities for Miss Tachibana here. Her kit rating is a 9 out of 10 as well. Very strong kit, very reliable. It can get dangerous at times as she can be susceptible to damage through her movement, but for the most part, she is a pretty strong character. Just be careful with a glass cannon build for her, as you might take a lot of damage. Next up, coming in at number 22, getting a 4-minute difference in clear time, having the same rating as Ginchio, we have Mr. Sumashur coming in at number 22. And he's got a 9.5 rating on his AoE. It's the best part of the character. His C4, CE6, EX attacks are super good. The C4 is really good. It's really all you need. Muso is decent as well. Could be better, but the C4 is what's carrying the AoE up here, and that bleeds into his safetiness because his C4, it just carries so strong with the residual effects and the hits. I didn't really have too much to worry about with him. Like certain movements or charges made me feel unsafe with him, but with the C4 and relying on the C4 a lot, that's what made me feel really good about the character. His kit is decent. He's got a great C3 for boss attacks. His abilities are solid enough. He's got the Commander Jin build for the attack defense move. He's got the Muso charge and the barrier damage. He's a decent character overall. He's one of the best from the game for sure, in my opinion. And let's jump into number 21. Coming in at number 21, receiving an 8.9 rating out of 10 overall. The first 4 categories, this character scored really well. However, not the safest character, and I ended up dying. Anyway, coming in at number 21, we have Miss Ryza. I don't know what they do with the guest characters, but they always make them super strong. She's got a 10 out of 10 on her AoE. She's the AoE goddess of the game. I'm pretty sure I said that about her the last time too. She absolutely wrecks with everything. She's destructive. C4 and C5 are monstrous. Muso is one of the best in the game. Her kit is also a 10 out of 10 rating. Her C1 is the only like not great move, but I'm not going to nick her for it. Everything else is absolutely destructive, viable, so freaking powerful. She's got an extremely brutal kit that just wrecks mobs. Her abilities are great. She's got the Crystal Saps rerolls. She's got the Flower of War ability for them to show up more, which gives her the attack buff. She also has the Explosive Burn ability. She is pretty strong. She has a really great cohesion with her abilities. The problem is her safetiness. 6 out of 10 for her safetiness. The only issue is that her attacks take so long, it's hard to pull off summons comfortably. Along with the C3, C4, and C5, you're very, very stagnant. I ended up pushing a glass cannon build with her. It ended up costing me because of her stagnation, and Tamahami ended up killing me during my first run, which made me drop down her safetiness. Because like with the power that she has, it almost makes you feel so invincible to the point where you forget that you really need to evade with this person. Now, jumping into the top 20 for my list. We're still in the A tier here. We got a lot to count down left. Starting off with number 20 with an 8.9 rating out of 10 is going to be Mr. Zhang Liao. Zhang Liao also gets a 10 out of 10 rating for AoE because he's just got a monster-like AoE. Every charge plays into his AoE. Even the C3, his Muso is great. His C1 is so good, giving like wind tornado things on your normal attacks after buffing yourself. He's a goated character when it comes to AoE. His boss rating is definitely the lowest. Not taking the power into consideration, he's a solid 8. Like his C3 is great for bosses. The others don't feel super impactful enough to use. His C2 is great once you line it up, but it can lead to spasticness when going offline. But he's a solid person. Kit's monstrous, his abilities are decent, and he overall feels safe as well. Zhang Liao is one of the best characters from this game, in my opinion. Alright, jumping into the 9 out of 10s and higher. This character has a 9 out of 10 overall rating for this character. And that's going to be one of the few characters that has a rating above 10 for one of the categories, and that's going to be Mr. Cao Cao. Cao Cao getting a 10.5 rating for his abilities because he's just... This is what my notes for Cao Cao is. Rock solid abilities, easy ice wave build, Cao Cao go boom. He's got one of the strongest abilities, cohesiveness in the game. He's got the attack and defense buff for the way, and he's got the ability to bring them in along with the charge attack buff towards barriers. I gave him that 10.5 because he's just built to absolutely wreck things. His AoE is a 9 out of 10. It's pretty solid. He's got a decent overall AoE. Not all of his moves tailor to his AoE, but most of it play pretty well. 8.5 with the boss rating, 8.5 with the kit. He's solid with the boss attacks, he's solid with the kit, and he's a decently safe character to play. He does have a lot of stagnation within his moveset, but he is pretty strong to play with. Very fun character. Definitely one of the best in my opinion. All right, next up coming in at number 18. I don't remember what her last number was, but she did pretty well. She's top 20 for me in this one. And am I surprised some of y'all? Coming in number 18, we have Xiao Qiao. Now, the only reason, so she's got a 9.5 in abilities, 9.5 in safeness, and she's also got a 9 out of 10 overall. She beats Cao Cao in terms of clear time by almost 7 minutes. Like that, she did great. So the reason that I didn't give her a 10 on her abilities is because of the build issues. Like trying to build Wu, Flame, and Grace, one of them is probably going to suffer, but if you can get them, the great abilities are there. And she gets health regen on projectiles, which is amazing. She's got some really good abilities in the game. And then her safetiness, I gave her a 9.5 out of 10. I honestly was half paying attention during her run, and I was still getting through easily. Level bosses make it a little tough for her, but mostly I breezed through the run with her without really any issue. She's got a solid kit, solid AoE. The boss rating is where she struggles the most, but still 8 out of 10 is not too bad. Overall, a very solid character. I think she deserves to be up here in the top 20, at least in the A tier. And that's why she's here up towards the top for me. Next up at number 17, taking on the girl power, but this time we're going to be visiting the Samurai Warriors universe. We're going to be talking about Miss Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha is a 9.1 out of 10 rating. She is a 10 out of 10 on AoE. She is an absolute AoE queen. She blows everything up so easily. Her Muso is crazy. All of her charges are destructive. Her C4 and C5 are monstrous. Absolute AoE queen. Her kit is a 9.5 out of 10. Her Muso is great. Her C5 is so good. C4 is great with a bit of passive damage as well. Just a very super strong kit. And then she also gets a 9.5 out of 10 for her safety because, I mean, you feel pretty safe with her. You're just blowing things up. The only instances of getting into, like, trouble is when you're kind of, again, stagnant with her charges. You get nipped a little bit, but she absolutely melts level bosses and crowds super easily. One of the strongest characters. I think she was also pretty high up on the last tier list, and she remains that way after the update as well. Next up, coming in number 16, we got another character with a 9.1 rating out of 10, and that's going to be one of the legendary characters from Dynasty Warriors, Mr. Shahou-Dun, and he gets a perfect 10 out of 10 rating on his kit because his kit is just a classic Shahou-Dun destructive. It's just so viable for the game. His C1 is probably the only bad thing that he does, like the little kick thing. But I'm not going to knock him for one bad move that no one ever uses. Everything else is great. He is monstrous. His EX attacks are great. His Muso is great. Super powerful AoE. He's got, AoE at the wazoo for all of his attacks. His EX attacks are destructive. Muso is destructive. His abilities are pretty solid. They're not like the best abilities, but they're pretty decent as well. And then again, he's just losing points on safetiness because of like the other characters, just stagnation. All the characters have some version of stagnation. It's just the degree of which they get them. I mean, it's not going to be slowing you down as Shahou-Dun that much. Next up, coming at number 15, beating Shahou-Dun by 2 seconds on clear time. This character got a 9.1 rating out of 10. That's going to be the new guest character, Miss Momiji. Momiji? Hopefully I'm saying her name right. 10 out of 10 on her AoE. She's very, very good with her AoE. Her C4, C5, and C6. They all have similar properties with a big AoE spin attack. Her Muso is goated as well. C2 is great. C1 EX is great as well. She's got AoE out the wazoo, just like Shahou-Dun before her. 9.5 rating out of 10 for her kit. Absolutely outstanding, devastating attacks. All of her attacks are viable, destructive. Her spinning AoE attacks are great as well. Just very, very good. Her abilities, just like all the other guest characters, seem to be pretty cracked. She's got the extra crystal sapling, she's got the HP regen, she's got the explosion when she makes barriers go down, she's got charge attack increase, and overall she's pretty safe. Getting to her later charges can be tough, leading to like easy clippings, but overall she is very, very good in this game. Then following that up at number 14, the last 9.1 out of 10 rating for my list here, we've got Mr. KG Meta coming in. 2 10 out of 10s on his AoE and his kit. His kit is absolutely built for AoE. All of his charges do monstrous AoE. His Muso is gigantic. And then just talking about his kit a little bit more, his moves are destructive. His hypers before C6 isn't too great, but again, I'm not going to knock him on that. He does have some great things with his kit. He's just so freaking good. He's a solid boss fighter as well, where he, I guess, struggles. I mean, not really. He's got the safety rating of 8 out of 10. Where again, he's got moments of stagnation from his C4 and his C5. His Hyper C6 has some moments of vulnerability, and again, while he is destructive, he has moments of being overwhelmed, especially without speed. He's very, very slow. Solid abilities. KG Meta is one of the best for this game for sure. Next up, coming in at number 13, a 9.2 rating out of 10. This is another character from the Samurai Warrior universe. We have now Masa E coming in with a 10 out of 10 rating on his AoE. A lot of the characters up here, like, they have their 10 out of 10s on their AoE because it's just monstrous. All of his charges go towards AoE. AoE, absolute machine. He's also got a really great kit. 9.5 out of 10, great kit. Not too many faults with it. It's just C4 is great. C5 is explosive. His hypers are explosive. Character just rips up with flames and explosions. And then his transcendent abilities are absolutely great as well. Flame build with Tokugawa, he stacks power fast, cooldown, Muso charge. Now Masa was a great character to play through. One of the best in my opinions, and that's why he's here towards the higher end of this tier list. Next up, coming in at number 12, a 9.2 overall out of 10 for this character. A monstrous character that just, he rips through people, and that's going to be Mr. Yukimura Sanada coming in. 10 out of 10 abilities. He's got absolutely goated abilities, 50% flame increase. And then on top of that, he gets the attack boost per flame emblem, which just stacks even more. He gets the HP regen for projectile destruction, and then having the attack buff as well for brave generals. It's just absolutely goated. Very easy to build that. And then a 9.5 out of 10 for his AoE. Monstrous strength of AoE. His normal string feels great. His whole kit is just AoE out the wazoo. His Hyper C6 is amazing. Muso is amazing. Very good character. Kit gave it an 8.5 just because he has a moment of dangerousness with his movement, and I feel like some of them are a little long, but overall his kit does really, really well. And again, safety, 9 out of 10. Stagnation within the C5, and the shifting in the C3 leads to some weird wonky moments, but overall he's a very strong, very safe character. That's why he's here towards the top. Now, coming in at number 11, before we hit the top 10, we got a character with another 9.2 out of 10 rating. One of the best characters from Warriors Abyss right now. And that's going to be Mr. Sima Zhao. Sima Zhao with a 10 out of 10 AoE. He hits hard with AoE. His C4 is so good. His C6 is a better version of it. His C3 EX attack is great as well. Muso, C5. I mean, everything is just hitting. Everything is just hitting. His AoE absolutely slaps. 10 out of 10 for sure. And the rest of his ratings are also very, very good. He's a super solid kid. He's a very strong boss fighter. Solid abilities. He's super safe. He's got some vulnerabilities with the wind up on some of his charges. But just an overall destructive, safe character. And he is a great candidate as one of the best characters from Warriors Abyss. Right before we hit the top 10. Now, jumping into the top 10. This is the final character into the A tier, as the S tiers are going to be all 9.5s or higher. Coming in number 10 with a 9.3 overall rating out of 10, we have the Sleeping Dragon, Mr. Zhuge Liang. Pretty much getting consistent numbers across the board here. 3 9.5s out of 10 for his AoE, his boss attacks, and his kit. His C4 EX is so good for AoE, and he absolutely wrecks with his lightning blast. C3 and C6 are great for damage for bosses. The Muso is also really good for passive damage and fantastic Muso attack for bosses. Zhuge Liang was built so well in this game, and put those two together and you get a nice lightning berserk AoE explosion kit that's just so fun to use. He's a safe character to play with, having moments of vulnerability with his C1 and C6. Very solid abilities as well. Because the Assemble Charge, the Wisdom plus 70%, which is great. He's got a unique ability with the attack increase for all the attributes, which is really good. And then he's got the treasure buff, which is always nice to have, but it is a risk because sometimes you might not get that treasure during your run. Zhuge Liang is among the best, and he is the final person for the A tier. Let's talk about the best of the best from the S tier. Starting off our S tier at the bottom with a 9.5 out of 10 rating. A little over 52 minutes in order to clear out Traversal 5, but I feel like this character is absolutely monstrous. And that's going to be Mr. Zhou Yu. This dude is absolutely insane. Starting off with his abilities, 9.5 out of 10. Easy Wu Flame build. Abilities aren't too shabby. Very easy to build into the Wu Flame and take advantage of it. His kit is a 10 out of 10 as well. The only bad thing about his kit, and it's not even that bad, is his first charge attack. Every other charge is fantastic. His Muso is great. His kit is close to perfect, and I didn't really struggle at all with the great Zhou Yu. 9.5 for his AoE, 9.5 for bosses. He is an absolute GOAT. The arrow volley is one of my favorite EX attacks from the games, and Zhou Yu with the staff is a monster, and that's why he's here at number 9 for me. Let's talk about the next great character at number 8. Another 9.5 out of 10 rating. Little less than 40 minutes to get this character done. He's another character with a 10.5 in abilities, and that's going to be the guest character Ryu Hayabusa. And I'm pretty confident in saying that Ryu has also one of the strongest summoning abilities as well when it's upgraded. The damn fire breathing dragon thing that like goes out and comes back in, and he's just a monstrous character in the game. 10 out of 10 AoE, 10 out of 10 kit, and a 10.5 on his abilities as well. Crazy OP. He gets speed and vigor emblems plus 70%, which is crazy. He gets the health regen for every 50 enemies defeated, which is going to happen by, that's like super easy. And then attack speed that gets activated by evading. I mean, this character is cracked with abilities and build potential. 10.5 for sure. Destructive AoE, spastic energy, explosive Musos. He is absolutely destructive. He is a goated character. His Muso is among the best in the game, and Ryu Hayabusa was made to be a monstrous character in this game. He has moments of vulnerability, so he only gets a 9 out of 10, and then some of his moves aren't really built for focused damage. I only gave him an 8 out of 10 on the boss moments, but other than that, this dude is monstrous. Next up, coming in at number 7, I believe this character was number 1 for me last time, but according to my ratings here, he's gonna drop down to number 7. Still doesn't take away from the fact that Yukimura Sanada, the adult version, is one of the strongest characters from the game. His abilities are absolutely cracked with the emblems, He's really easy to build for. Just getting a random emblem by itself every 6 levels is absolutely correct. Crazy ability to have. The Muso charge is like fine. The defense for the level boss enemies isn't that great, but that is carrying him up to a 10 out of 10 because it is the only ability. He's the only person that has that, which is crazy. You get to like level 36 or 42. I've had some characters get to 40. That's 7 free emblems. That's a lot for a run. 10 out of 10 on his kit as well. The only thing that's not that great about the character is his hyper attacks before his C6, but everything else, I mean, he's monstrous. He's a monstrous killer on the field. 9 out of 10 for bosses. Very, very strong. Some of the charges can lead you into a little bit of error, but he is very, very strong. AoE out the wazoo. One of the strongest characters for sure. From Warriors Abyss is definitely the adult version of Yukimura, and he's monstrous, absolutely monstrous. Next up, coming at number 6, beating Yukimura by I believe 24 seconds. I think it was 24 seconds of clear time, and that's what puts his character above him, getting the exact same rating as him, is going to be Nobunaga Oda, coming in at number 6, and you feel destructive with Nobunaga. 10 out of 10 AoE. He is a monstrous AoE kid. His hypercharge C6 isn't too great, but that doesn't matter. The buff he gives himself where he enhances his charges is absolutely cracked. His C2 is goated, C3 is good, C4 is so good for AoE, and his Muso is so good as well. Kit is 10 out of 10. Super fun, destructive kit. Not going to punish him for the hypers because I feel like no real characters have really good hypers. C2, C3, C4, monstrous. Muso, monstrous, destructive, fun kid. He's got one of the best in the game for sure. Cracked abilities, 9.5 out of 10. Everything except for the slight Muso charge is correct. He's got the attack per Oda. He's got the 50% increase on summon heroes. That's crazy. And then he gets explosions for taking down barriers. I mean, they made Nobunaga the absolute demon king. It makes sense. Having moments of stagnations, as most of the characters do, gives him an 8.5 on the safety. But Nobunaga absolutely is one of the best characters from Warriors Abyss, and he's just shy of our top 5. Now, coming in at number 5, honestly, anybody up in the S tier could be argued to be the best character from the game right now. And this character has a very strong contention for the number 1 spot. But for my list, he's going to be here at number 5. With a 9.5 out of 10 rating, we have the monstrous Lu Bu coming in. This is the peak of AoE. 10 out of 10. All of his moves except his C1, it goes, I mean, it's Lu Bu. It's brutal. The Muso is crazy. It gets bigger just like it does when you go against him as the evil version. He's monstrous. A C3 for boss damage is amazing. C6 is good too. Easy, quick, fast damage with his kit. Lu Bu is very solid against bosses. His kit is a 10 out of 10. Again, C1 is not that great, but it's the only one and still fine. Like everything else is just godlike. You guys know, I'm sure you guys have all played as Lu Bu from Dynasty Warriors 8. He is monstrous. 9.5 out of 10 for his safeness as well. Getting to his C6 is really the only danger. Other than that, he destroys everything. C3 grab, I'm pretty sure he's invincible while slamming. Monstrous, easy comfort character. Lu Bu wrecks everything as per usual. He's in the S tier as he should be. Next up, coming in at number 4 with a 9.6 rating out of 10. Again, they love making the guest characters OP in this game. And that's no exception for this guest character named Rachel. Rachel coming in with a 9.6 out of 10. 10 out of 10 on AoE and 10 out of 10 on abilities. Her abilities, she gets double explosive abilities. She makes enemies explode on being defeated, and on top of that, when she destroys in a projectile, it also causes another explosion. So just swinging her giant, I think she's carrying around a giant axe, and she has a gun. Crazy AoE out the wazoo. You're just blowing everything up. It's absolutely insane. Her Muso is among the best for AoE. EX attacks are great for AoE as well. C3 is great. C6 is great. An absolute monstrosity when it comes to AoE. Very safe character. 9.5 out of 10. Her kit is a 9.5 out of 10 as well. Great boss fighter as well. Super strong. Super solid. Rachel is easily one of the most OP characters from this game, and that's why she's here towards the top of the list for me personally. Coming in at number 3, the rest of the characters all share the same overall of a 9.7 out of 10. Starting off our number 3 with the bronze medal, we have the beautiful bearded Guan Yu. Guan Yu getting a 10 out of 10 on AoE and Kit, because this guy absolutely destroys people. AoE absolutely destroys. Muso is goated. All of his charges are great. His C3 is the weakest, but still good. He's a very strong powerhouse character. 9.5 for bosses. He just rips through them pretty easily. All of his moves are crazy strong. Guan Yu is hands down one of the best characters from the game, as he should be. The god of war. His transit abilities are cracked. The invulnerability thing that he has, I think that Sauron had as well, I brought it down because of that, because I'm not sure if it stacks. It will become obsolete when you reach that point of the strength thing, if you ever do. But the flame build with the brave general, semi-focus, Guan Yu just absolutely rips through everything. And the only caveat he has with his safety is his speed early on. Everything else, he's a GOAT. Now, coming in with the silver medal, in my opinion, the second best character from Warriors Abyss from my Traversal 5 run, after getting a near 10-minute difference in clear time, we have Mr. Zhang Fei, his brother in arm, and he's just monstrous. 10 out of 10 for AoE, 10 out of 10 for the kit, monstrous kit, AoE at the wazoo, so freaking good. I've used the word so much, it's just, I don't know what to say about it, but it's monster, absolute monster. He's a brutal boss killer as well. His C3 is great, his C2 is good as well. He's got pretty strong abilities as well. The slight Muso charge is decent, but since it stacks with the wind build, it's cohesive and it works. Attack buff is great towards disoriented people. He gets the buff per mic character, and he gets explosions that causes burns, which is amazing too. He is one of the safest characters to play as well. After getting the attack speed and your movement speed up to where it needs to be, you'll be totally fine with Zhang Fei. His C1 EX buff is so goated. His charges blow everything up. I had absolutely no fear getting through with him. He is a monstrous character, just like everyone else I talked about. And finally, bringing up the #1 spot with a whopping clear time of only 31 minutes and 57 seconds. I'm pretty sure it goes Kenshin, Lu Bu, and then the #1 character for clear time. And for me personally, coming in at #1, this character absolutely wrecked everything, and if he had better abilities, he might have been perfect. We have Muneshige Tachibana. This dude, I'm telling you, I think wind is the most OP element in the game. It is absolutely destructive. He has 4 10 out of 10s, and the only thing he doesn't have it on is his abilities, because he has the attack buff for the western region, which is fine. The assemble gains charge after 1k is, again, like I talked about earlier, it's kind of bad. It's not that great. The HP after level up is great for Traversal 6 when they take that away. And then he has the attack increase for interrupting attacks, which is fine because that's usually activated during phases. So he has solid abilities. It's not crazy crack like some of the other characters. It's just solid. Everything else, this character, I don't know what it was. He's just monstrous. AoE, this guy is the explosive wind god. He's so freaking strong with AoEs. Muso's fantastic. C3, C4, C5, great Hyper 6. Everything. Boss, 10 out of 10. I'm not trying to take power into it, but his build is so easy that he just melts bosses. His C5 is great for bosses. C4 is good too. He's a monster boss killer. And then his kit, 10 out of 10. I'm not going to nick him for the hyper attack before his C6. Because they're decent, but they're not like crazy good. But it's not going to take away from the fact that his kit is a monstrous one. He also has like I think he has an AoE thing that comes out after his attacks. He was having, I think it's part of his kit. Let me know down below if you guys are aware of his ability, because some characters have extra abilities like that. But it seemed like there was something coming out of his charge attacks, and it was just brutalizingly good. His Muso is goated. His Hyper C6 is great. He's just such a strong character. And then, of course, his safety. I think he's the only character with a 10 out of 10 safety rating. Because honestly, everything for him, it just balances out so well that he felt safe the whole time. I felt literally untouchable with him. His power was so explosive. It was just easy to slip out of danger and then just wreck everything, including level bosses. Muneshige Tachibana is the #1 character for me from Warriors Abyss from my Traversal 5 run. He'll probably be the first character I try to do Traversal 6 and to actually defeat the Ruinous Skooma, all of that stuff, because he was so freaking strong. And that is my full tier list for Warriors Abyss after running through every character through Traversal 5. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know down below what you guys think about this monstrosity of a video. I know as soon as this video drops, they're going to do the update, and then you guys have to wait till Traversal 6 runs and see where the other characters land. We'll see who we get for those characters and who gets added. But this is the list that I feel is pretty strong right now. Let me know down below if you guys have any opinions. You guys think that some characters too high, too low? I know like characters like Yuan Shao, Hanbei, Takakage, I think collectively people say aren't that great. Maybe Sun Jian was too low. I know he was really high last time. But this is what I felt from everything, from the categories that I built for these characters. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, definitely appreciate a like or a sub. And I'll see you all in the next one. Later, guys.